Give me a couple of minutes to be starting. Just wait. Okay. Hi guys. Sorry on the delay. But you called, the grade 10 session. Got a bit late. And yeah. Yes, walaikum salam. Yes, sir. Okay, let's begin. You said you would keep it. I hope they didn't give me a moment. Okay, let's start. So just give me a moment. I'll just drop a reminder that we're going to start as well. Mm, a lot is done. Okay, let's start. Before I start, I'll just give you a small reminder about how the what you call class gonna work. Then we can have everything running smoothly. What do you call? Normally, I'll be asking you all in general certain questions, like for example, what is this? What is the answer? Like I'll be asking you all questions in general. Okay. So the questions I ask you all, I want you all to drop those answers in the chat, in the main chat. That is this place. This place. Okay. And then, apart from this main chat, you might notice in Zoom, there's another place where you can send a personal chat for me. Like if I use the phone, I think there's like a pen icon. You can click on that pen icon and you can send it. Or else I send you a message now, no? So you can click on my profile picture and send a message to me. So the doubts you have, the questions you have, like if it's related to a doubt, you can drop your doubts in those personal chat. I don't mind you dropping the doubts in the main chat as well. But if you want your doubt to be personal, then drop your doubt in the main personal chat. Okay. That's the second thing. Those are not a big rule. If you follow that rule, also fine. If you don't follow that rule, also fine. Not a problem if you break that rule. But there's one rule which you have to follow. If you're in the grade 10 lesson, you might be hearing this for the second time. The grade 10s actually witnessed it. If those were there, the grade 11, some were there in the grade 10, so I wouldn't notice what happened. In the main chat, if someone is asking a question, they're asking that question from me. If they put a statement there, that is for me. If any of you all go and reply, even if you give the correct reply for the question they ask you, I'll put you out of the meeting. Okay, no warnings, directly out of the meeting. So if there's any questions dropped in the main chat, okay, That is for me. I will reply. Until I reply, let be as it is. I will not skip any question. So make sure you all don't reply or play the fool in the main chat. Let's start. Okay, we're going to start the spreadsheet questions. I hope some of you all have already done this paper because I posted this paper in the channel. Those who did not do this paper, you can actually get this paper from the channel. I'll just share the link of that paper as well for those who could not find it in the channel. Loading, 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 copy, paste. So these are paper we're actually doing. The following spreadsheet shows some statistics related to e-commerce growth in country X for the period of 2015 to 2021. Fine. Yes, most probably, Netu. And out of this, what do you call data? Yes, Asya. So out of this data, yeah, Hassan. They are saying you, the first question is asking you, the column D is used to calculate the average transaction value. Okay. So column D, so this is a column D is used to find the average transaction value, it seems, for every year. And they're asking you to write the formula that should be entered in cell D2. So D2 is column D, row number 2. That is this fellow. What should be entered here to calculate the average transaction value for the year 2015? Now, for you to be able to calculate this, first of all, you should know how to calculate. No? They are saying that you write a formula there to calculate the average transaction. To know how to calculate, again, read the question properly. Here they have mentioned that average transaction value is equal to the total online sales divided by the number of online transactions, right? Now you come back to the spreadsheet. So in the spreadsheet, you're supposed to figure out what is the formula written here. To find that, they have told you can find the answer. The data contains what? The average transaction value. No? So they are saying average transaction value is equal to total online sales divided by number of online transactions. Now this is talking about row number 2. Row number 2 is reflecting the year 2015, right? You can see row number 2 is talking about the year 2015. So tell me, in 2015, if I want to find the total online sales, that is there in which cell? Give me the cell address containing the total online sales in 2015. That's fine. I have some issues. Exactly. You can find that in the B2 cell. In the B2 cell, you can see what you called but if they don't give us the formula, if they don't give us the formula, mostly it should be something that's like that can be guessed. Like for example, if I ask you, like let's say there's two columns. One column has the let's say value of a pen, another column has a value of pencil, and let's say third column is talking about the value of pen plus pencil. So common sense, okay, if they're asking you to find the value of pen plus pencil, that means this plus this, right? So if they have not given you the formula, probably it should be something which you can guess. It would not be something that you can't guess. Okay, perfect. Is it Jayavardhan? Nice. Won't you be doing the first question? I will be doing when I'm starting the sixth question. There's a reason. I'll go in a jumble order. Spreadsheet first, database second. Likewise, I'll be going jumble order. Just follow the order. Programming will be the last. One before the last, actually. The last one will be the first. First question, the last. One before the last is programming. Anyways, what do you call total online sales for 2015 is there. See, you can see if you go to the column names, you can see the first column is talking about the total online sales. And the next column is talking about what do you call the number of online transactions. This is talking about number of online users, and this is talking about the growth rate. So here we have the total sales. Total sales is there in actually the B column. Total sales for 2015 is there in the this cell. This is the column B, row number 2. That means that is there in the B2 cell address. Okay, that is there in the B2 cell address. So you are supposed to take the value in the B2 cell and divide it by the number of online transactions now. So number of online transactions, you can see it is there in the C column, and number of online transactions for 2015 is going to be there in the C2 cell. So that's going to be B2 divided by C2. Always keep in mind, when the question asks you formula, Try to write the formulas using cell addresses. Okay, B to C to their cell address. Don't go and write something like this. Don't go and write, for example, as equal 1200 divided by 45. Even though if you do this, the answer is going to be correct. Even though you're going to get the answer as 26.67. When you're writing formulas, always avoid writing these direct values. Instead, mention the cell address containing them. Okay. So you'll be getting marks only if you wrote there B2 divided by C2. Wrote it correctly, mark it correct, and put 1 mark there. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. When should we mention this equal symbol? Whenever they ask you to write a formula, you begin writing a formula with the equal symbol. Any other questions? I can't understand the spreadsheet. That's what I have shown a spreadsheet. So they basically just see the columns and rows here. So the first column is talking about the years. Second column is talking about the total online sales. Third column is talking about the total number of online transactions. Just you don't have to understand the whole spreadsheet. By just looking at it, if you just know, okay, this column contains this column contains this column contains this. Like for example, if I ask you, okay, what is the meaning of this? You should be able to list the 1850 means what column it is there in? Total online sales column. What row is there in? The 2019. So you have to be able to tell, okay, that 1850 means in 2019, how much of total online sales was there? And the 75 means in 2019, how much of transactions was there? So just when you compare the column and row, when you combine the column and row, you will be able to understand each and every data's meaning. Make sense? Yes, Yumna, it's coming only. Is equals average B2 divided by C2 correct? No, because here in the question they have told you how to find average. No, here the question has told you precisely the average transactions can be found by taking the online sales divided by the number of transactions. So because the question has told you how to find the average, you have to follow in that pattern. That's B2 divided by C2. To write equals average, that is wrong. I didn't put the equal symbol. Is it wrong? Yes, without the equal symbol, they might cut around half marks with that. Before the equal symbol, can I write like D2 equals? Wrong. They might cut half marks with that. No agnation on it. Functions also we have to put equal name. Functions is inside a formula, you can include numbers. This is called numbers. Inside a formula, you can include cell address. We call a cell address. Inside a formula, you can include functions. This is a function. So formula can have a number, a formula can have a cell address, a formula can have a function, a formula can have a cell range mention, and a formula can have arithmetic operators. Function is something that can be included inside a formula. So it's not that, what do you call the function should have equal symbol. Technically, formula should have equal symbol. Can you put equals average? No, can't. Okay. And then will it be wrong if we write down average transaction value is equal to B2 divided by? No, it's not wrong if you write like that a sentence, but avoid writing sentence and directly mention equals B2 divided by C2. I think I answered that average part. Do you write average method? No, no need average function here. That was the question asked by all of you all. Nope, you can't write average. I wrote average. Is it wrong? Yes, it is wrong. I mean, this is an average we used. No, here average is not used, so you can't write the average. Because the question is mentioning how to find average. Huh? When they mention the word formula, how can you identify which type are they asking? Is a method, A, B, J, C, or are they asking a formula? The formula contains always they tell you how to find the answer. For example, if you look at this question, they're asking you to find what? Find the formula used to calculate the average transaction value. Okay. And the question has given you the formula, man. So the question has told you average transaction value is equal to total sales divided by number of transactions. So because the equation is given, we just replace the values with respect to cell address. The note has mentioned the formula. Yeah, no issues. By knowing that, what are you going to answer? Get what are you going to get, Halima? Focus on the current story. If you don't write average, it's wrong. If you write average, it's wrong. We put the average, don't put the average. Will the formula be given the paper? If the formula is given, you apply it. If the formula is not given, probably it will be something which you can guess. How is a function written? We'll have a question regarding function in the Roman number 3, then I'll show you. Is average is equal to B2 divided by C2 correct? Wrong. Will multimedia come? Depends on your school. Is it important to use brackets? Don't need brackets. Why can't you put average in front of B2 divided by C2? Why do you need to put B2? Like for example, if I tell you Pythagoras theorem is equal to hypotenuse, what do you call hypotenuse square is in Pythagoras theorem? If I say you hypotenuse square is equal to what do you call opposite squared plus adjacent square, will you go and take what do you call opposite squared plus into adjacent square? Can you do like this? Can you modify the formula and write? No, right? If they say a formula is right, you have to follow the exact formula, right? So here the question has told you how the formula is. The question is what? Total sales divided by number of sales. So follow it simply directly. I think I have to off the main chat because the number of messages is high. I can't go and see those unknown people's typing, and this Rizlan says blocked to this one and kept deleting option also. Unwanted, he has blocked all the features and kept. My Zoom is how clean. I can delete the messages you have sent on. Will the multimedia come? Okay, that's it. I thought you did this. Okay. What to write if they ask the function? That's why I said we'll come for the third question, then I'll show you. Yep, I answered them. This Zoom has not the no option delete it. So yeah. Aram, I answered that as well. Done. Okay, next. Yes, Gayatri, exactly. Roman number 2. So again, rule number 1, when they tell you when they ask you to write the formula, directly follow the instruction given. Don't go too much thinking. They use the word called average. I should use average function. Don't think too much. Okay. That's because Rizlan Hassan don't reply when people message while teaching. Is it? My Zoom has all the features enabled. Anyways, Roman number 2. Assume the formula written in cell D2 is copied to the cell range D3 to D8. Okay, so they are saying we have written the formula in D2 now. Well, like if we copy this formula from D2 and if we paste it to all the cells in the cell range of D3 to D8. So this is from D3 to D8. They are saying if we paste in this cell range, they are asking you for the year 2016 to 2021, write down the formula that shows the average transaction value for the year 2020 in cell D7. They're asking you what will be the formula in the cell D7. They're asking what will be there in this cell. Okay. Again, I'll explain what the question is saying. The question is saying there's a formula written in cell D2, right? We're going to copy the formula from cell D2 and paste it to the cell range. Cell range means multiple cells. We're going to paste it here, 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 and here. For all these cells, we are going to paste. After we paste for all these cells, the question is asking, what will be the formula in this cell? In the D7 cell, what will be the formula? So let me show you all how you can get that. Even my mom saw. Let me clean the chat. Ignore so that this goes down. I just now saw the chat actually. So ignore so that the chat goes down simply. Let me quickly go on that feeds event. I don't know why the hell is Rizlan off all those stuffs then kept. Why is his meeting? Because in my Zoom his class is going on. So his class in my Zoom, my class in his Zoom. Is of the source and gift. No audio selected emote is allowed. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, now you can delete messages. I think I'll restart the video and delete it. That's fine. Okay, perfect. That issue is sorted, so I can control using the phone. If anything happens. Is it by mistake you sent or really you sent? I actually sent it purposely to for that because that message I just didn't like it. Anyways, what do you called the Roman number two? So what they said in the Roman number two is I'm going to on the meeting chat mail. Let me test and see is it applied or should I leave enjoy? I should be even plus none of these fellows doing this. Check in a while, right? Okay, I'll come to that in a while. So the question says the it was copied from D2 and it was pasted to the cell range, and we are supposed to find the form in D7. So let me show you how you can do that. Focus here. Why did it start? Okay, sorted. Okay, perfect. Most probably what time it is in? It might end at 11 o'clock if my guessing is correct. Can I delete it? Yes, perfect. It is working. I'll open the meeting chat now. So you can chat your doubts in the main chat as well. Okay, let's start. So if this in this question they're asking you for this one, they're asking you for the what do you call uh formula that will be in the pasting cell. So that's going to be done like this. Let me show it to you. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I'll quickly back. One moment. Yes, we all know if operations are not perfect, I don't like it. So I made the operations pixel perfect now, and we can continue. It's clean. If there's any chats or message, then I did not check because I left and join, all the chats are gone. So if there's anything you message, then I did not reply. You can again send it in the chat. I'll check it. Okay. So yeah, in this question, they're saying they have written a formula in the D2 cell, and the formula that was written in the cell D2 is copied. You can. Why is it stuck? Yes, I'm. Okay. So the formula that's written in cell D2, that's going to be copied to cell D7, right? So we're copying the formula from D2 and pasting it to cell D7. Yeah, you have been asking that same question 1,000 times, right? And I've been ignoring it 1,000 times. I actually answered the first time and I've been ignoring other times. There's a reason for that. Focus on what's in front of you. Okay. So we have the formula in the D2 cell. We're going to copy it from D2 cell. When it is talking, I get pissed off actually. And what we're copying from the D2 cell, we're going to paste it onto the D7 cell. And the question is asking you to find what is the formula written in the D7 cell. Now tell me, okay, tell me what was the formula we had written into the D2 cell? Tell me what was the formula we wrote in the D2 cell. Put your answer in the main chat. Huh? What was the formula that was present in the D2 cell? Yes, you can find that in the first question. The first question has it actually. What is it? Because the first question we wrote the formula into the D2 cell, right? So what was the formula we wrote in the D2 cell? Perfect. The formula we wrote in the D2 cell was equals B2 divided by C2. Okay. Equals B2 divided by C2. So I'm going to have the formula here equals B2 divided by C2. I'll just write it here for my reference. Now I'll tell you how do you find the movement of cells? How do you find when a formula is copied from one cell to another cell? This method can be applied for any questions. So focus here. To find how a formula will be present, paste it somewhere else. The step number one is find the movement from the copying cell to the pasting cell. Okay. Now here we are copying the formula from which cell address? What is the cell address? We are copying the formula. What is the address of the cell? We are copying the formula from. Perfect. We are copying from D2 cell. What is the now we are supposed to find a formula, right? We're supposed to find the formula. We're supposed to find the formula pasted onto which cell. The formula we're going to find is there, right? The formula we're going to find that was pasted where the question said D7 cell. So step number one, compare both the cell address and tell me, are there any column changes? Has a column changed between the copying cell and pasting cell? No. So that means there is no any horizontal movement. We're not going right side. We're not going left side. There is no horizontal movement. Has the row number changed? Compare the copying cell and pasting cell and tell me, has the row number changed? Yes, the row number has changed. To go from the row number 2 to row number 7, if you compare the copying cell and pasting cell, to go from row number 2 to row number 7, are we supposed to go up or are we supposed to go down? From the copying cell to pasting cell, are we going up or are we going down? Yes, to go from row number 2 to row number 7, you're supposed to go down. So there is a vertical movement of going down. Tell me, how many cells you have to jump down to reach the row number 7? From row number 2, how many cells you have to go down? 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Exactly. You're supposed to go 5 cells down. Perfect. You're supposed to go 5 cells down. Okay. So this I'll call this as a change of how to go from the copying cell to the pasting cell. If you have any questions regarding this change, drop in the chat. Huh? So what I did is I figured out how to go from the copying cell to the pasting cell, and I wrote it here. Right. Next, what you do is you have to apply this change to all the cell address in the formula. Okay. You're supposed to apply the change to all cell address in the formula. But if you copy paste horizontally, if you copy paste horizontally, then this will have a value. Okay. If you copy paste horizontally, this part will have value. No? Make sense? Like B2 to G2. If you copy from B2 to G2, okay, you're going to go from B cell to G cell. So from B to G, how you're going? Right to the left side. Like, imagine a spreadsheet. B is here and G is somewhere here, right? So from B to G, you're going right side, right? So you're going to go right side and see how many columns you're going to go. B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G. Make sense, Ron? Yes, exactly. X axis and Y axis. Perfect. Now, by knowing the answer to that question, what are you going to do? Okay. So once you figure out the horizontal change and vertical change, now what you're going to do is, you're going to apply this change for all the cell address in the formula we copied. Okay. In the formula copied. So what was the formula we copied? The formula we copied was equals B2 divided by C2. So we are going to apply this change for every cell address in the formula. So our formula has two different cell address. B2 is one cell address, C2 is another cell address. Let's apply for the first cell address. Now you can see there is no horizontal change. The first one represents a horizontal change. Like going right side or going left side is called a horizontal change. And going up or down is called a vertical change. So you can see there is no horizontal change. There is only vertical change when we are going from the copying cell to the pasting cell. Right? So based on that, tell me from the now we are now what we are going to do is we're going to apply this change. So there is no horizontal change, only vertical change is there. Tell me if you apply this change for the B2 cell, which means from the B2 cell, if you go 5 cells down, what is the pasting cell? If there is horizontal change, then you apply the horizontal change as well. Now here there is no horizontal change. So you apply only the vertical change. What is the vertical change? Going 5 cells down. So from the B2 cell, if you go 5 cells down, what is the cell you will reach? Logic gate was done in grade 10. Logic gate is not needed for grade 11s. Go and check the past papers, you will know. Only 2 marks will come. We want the 2 marks. Wait, that is the last. We are going priority wise. The marks wise, we are going. So the marks, the lessons has more priority, leave more marks. So I have 4 more. Exactly. For the B2 cell, if you go 7 cells, 5 cells down, you'll be reaching the B7 cell. So this will have B7. Similarly, tell me if you apply this change, there is no horizontal change, but there's a vertical change of going 5 cells down. If you apply this change for the C2 cell, tell me what will be the C2 cell? C2 will become from the C2 cell, you go 5 cells down. What will be, I will be reaching? Perfect. You will be reaching the C7 cell. So that means in the pasting cell, the formula we'll be having is B7 divided by C7. This is how you do these kind of questions. Why is Umra? Why? Can you explain from the beginning, please? Yes, I'll explain. Wait for this. See this, okay? So how this worked was the question said we are copying the formula from the D2 cell and we're pasting the formula on D7 cell. And this was the formula we copied, right? So step number 1, I figured out how to go from the copying cell to the pasting cell. Okay. From the copying cell to the pasting cell, there is no column changed, but there is a row change. What is the row change? We are going from row number 2 to row number 7. Okay. From row number 2 to 7, we are going 5 cells down. That's the only change. Are there any column changes? No. Okay. So after you figure out this change, these are the changes. After you figure out this change, you're going to apply the change to the formula. And you're going to apply this change to the every cell address in the formula. What was the formula we copied? Equals B2 divided by C2. So there is no column change, but there is a row number change. How should the row number change? The row number should go 5 cells down. So from B2 cell, if you go 5 cells down, it will become B7. From C2 cell, if you go 5 cells down, it will become C7. Is that clear? Ahmed? Don't you put dollar sign? No. Because the formula we copied did not have dollar sign. Nope, 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 nope. You modify the formula copy. This was the formula you copied, and in the formula you're going to paste. So technically, in terms of steps, even though I wrote in the left side so much of steps, you're not doing the question in terms of steps. You have just this much of steps. Okay, you can see what you just only this much. Figure out how to go from the copying cell to the pasting cell and apply the change for every cell address. Perfect. So that's going to be equals B7 divided by C7. If it's a horizontal chain, the letters would change, right? Yes, correct. How did it be B2? Because that was the first question. The Roman number 1, we figure out that only. Okay. So the pasting cell, the answer is going to be equals what you called B7 divided by C7. Okay. So as long as you wrote, if you wrote B7 equals C7, you get the marks there. So for a question like this, first you check the row and column change and take the first cell address and include the changes in it. Take each and every cell address. For each and every cell address, you will apply the change. I apply the change for the B2 cell became BC7. C2 cell became C7. For every cell, you make the change. Next, write the formula in cell B10 to find the lowest value for the total online sales from 2015 to 2021. Perfect. Now, when you're writing formulas, a formula can contain several stuffs. Okay. A formula can contain numbers. A formula can contain cell addresses. Right. Take a formula. A formula can contain numbers. Why is it stuck again? Okay. For those who join in the middle, I'll let you all know the rules. When I'm teaching, you're supposed to ask questions relevant to what I'm teaching. The questions. If you ask any other irrelevant questions, I'll be putting out of the meeting. One fellow is asking, sir, when will the paper class duty be given? So I'm putting this fellow out of the class. Didn't remove from the meeting. Easy. Because I gave this warning in the beginning of the class. I put it here. In the paper, you send it as a clue for the answers. Yeah, actually, yes. Can you tell me where to use dollar symbol? I'll tell it last. Because there's a question somewhere, I guess, which dollar symbol needs. So I'll keep it later. Okay, yeah. Come back to the main question. A formula can contain numbers. A formula can contain cell addresses. A formula can contain operators. Operators means addition, subtraction, multiplication. Those are operators. And a formula can contain something called as functions. Right? So for example, if you look at this question here, they are saying to write a formula to find the lowest value. Normally, if you want to find the lowest value out of a range of sales, they are saying the lowest value for the total online sales from 2015 to 2021. Okay. So technically, they're out of the total online sales. Total online sales means we're talking about the column B. Column B will have the total online sales. No. In total online sales, out of all these values, let's say you want to find the lowest value. So out of all these values, if you are supposed to find the lowest value, okay, There is only one way to find the lowest value in a cell range. To find the lowest value in a cell range, you use a function called the min function. Exactly. You use a function called the min function. So when you're using a function, we're going to use a function inside a formula. That's how it works. Huh? So always you're starting a formula, you start with the equal symbol. So I mention a equals. In front of the equal symbol, I had to mention the name of the function I'm going to use. So here I'm going to use the min function. You can mention simple letters, capital letters, no any issues in that. Okay. In brackets, you are mentioned in which cell range are you going to find the value. So I'm going to tell in this cell range, right? From this cell range, I'm going to find the lowest value. So what is this cell range? B2 to B8. So okay, you can see it's starting from the B2 cell. It's going up to the B8 cell. So I'm going to say equals min B2 to B8. This is how you do this question. If you have any doubts, drop in a chat. The next question is saying, write the formula in cell C11 to find the highest value for the number of online transactions. To find the highest value, we use a max function. And here they're saying maximum of the number of online transactions. So number of online transactions, that is there. See, number of online transactions, that is there in the C column, right? So in C column, there's what you call, and they're asking the which year? 15, 2021, right? Yeah, same time period. Same time period means from 2015 to 2021. So that is they're talking out of these values, you're going to find the largest value. So these values are there in a cell range of C2 to C8. So that's going to be equals max C2 to C8. And the third part, why they have mentioned B10 is not given right. The third part, they ask in the third part, why they have mentioned B10 is not given right. They have mentioned write the formula in cell B10. They're saying we're going to write the formula in cell B10 somewhere here. I mean, it's not shown in the picture given there. That is not a problem. Okay. The type of brackets that we use, like if it's yes, the answer is wrong. Yeah, you can use only the normal brackets. You can't use any other brackets. How do you find whether to use a function or formula? You have to use a formula only, man. Function is like a thing you can include inside a formula. Operator is a thing you can include in a formula. Cell is a thing you can include inside a formula. Number is a thing you can include in a formula. These are all things to be included in the formula. Got it? Next. Doesn't have to be equals min B2 to B10 since the question says B10. No. Question not said B10. The question said from 2015 to 2021. So from 2015 to 2021 means this is talking about 2015 cell and this is talking about the 2021 cell. See, 2021 is there in this cell, 2015 is there in this cell. So it should be B2 to B8. Why should we use brackets? Whenever you're using a function in front of the function, next to the function, you mention cell range in the brackets. Technically, it's functions are things you can include in a formula. Simple. Min is for the smallest value, max is for the largest value. Depending on the purpose, you use the respective function. Next. What are operators? Plus, minus, multiplication, division, those operators. Got it? Okay, next. Arrange the steps in proper order to form the numbers in a cell range D2 to D8 with the currency symbol dollar with no decimal places. Okay. Now we don't have a range of values from D2 to D8. You can see from D to D8, the values are there, all are there in two decimal place values. So they are saying in front of these two decimal place values, okay, and they're saying in front of the two decimal place values, you're going to use you want to mention the value in the currency format. You want to mention the dollar symbol in front of it. So normally to do that, we have a tool called the number format tool, right? So let's look at this orders and tell what should happen first. Okay. To change it, first of all, you have to select the cell range. No. So which one selects the cell range? C. So first of all, you have to do C. Select the cell range. After you select the cell range, next you have to go and click on the number format tool and make it currency. Correct. That is A. After you change it to currency, you can click on the symbol box and click down the arrow and then select this dollar symbol. That's also fine. That's going to be B. Actually, in Excel, you first of all click on the format cells. So press right click and you can click on. You have the top picture. It has a number format tab. You can show it to you if you want. So this is how it will look like. Why in the first question no need brackets? Because first question we did not use a function. Only in front of a function. Behind a function, we use a brackets. So for example, if I have numbers like this 25.6, then let's say 56.55, 89.963, blah, 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 or 85, 26. So if I have multiple numbers, normally you can, if you want to change, if you want to add the dollar symbol in front, okay. Okay. What do you call? You select the cell range, and after you select the cell range, you have an option here called format. In Excel, it's a bit different. Excel, you'd have somewhere here itself. In this area again, you might have what do you call option called general that you can select. So in format, there's option called number. So from this, you can go and check currency. So once you go and put currency, it'll give you the respective symbol. But if you want a currency that's not mentioned here, now here it's coming in euros, no. So if you want to change to something else in format, number, there's option here called more currencies, custom currency. So from custom currency, you can actually change it from whatever currency you want. That's how it works, right? So here they have mentioned, first of all, select the cell range. Then you would have to right click and select the format cells option. That's D. And after D, you'll select the number tab and select the currency under it. It's A. Then after you click on currency in the symbol box, click down the no. First of all, you're going to actually change it. My bad. They're talking about Excel here. So first of all, you do A. After you change the currency, now you select the format tab, D, and then B, and then E. I'll show you respective in Excel list itself. That's easy. Is it only dollar sign or can we use any other currencies too? You have other currencies too. Like for example, LKR is there. Then we have euros. You can create your own currency as well. So if I open Excel here, let me open and show you. Why is it taking so much time? What was it? Okay, so let me open a plain Excel sheet. And then it's because of Zoom actually. Man. So yes, so if this is my Excel sheet, if I have multiple values like this, okay, first of all, you have to select the cells you want to format. How to select the cells you want to format? You can click on this number. This is the numbers to tab. Okay, this is the number place. From this number place, you can there's something called general. From this general, you have to go and change it to currency. Okay. After you change it to currency, you can see there's arrowhead here. Okay. From this, you can change it from whatever symbols you want. Or another method you can do is you can right click on this. After right click on that, there will be an option here called format cells. So from format cells, you can change it to whatever options you want. See, you can change the symbol from whatever symbol you want, right? So the as per the question, step number one is select the range of cells. Step number two, out of the numbers, select the, see, first is C, that is select the range of cells. Second is A, select the number tab and select currency under it. Okay. So I'm going to select the number tab. From the number tab, this is the number tab. From this number tab, I'm going to select currency. So after I select currency, step number two. Step number three is what do you call? Press the right button and select format cells. So I'm going to right click here, format cells. And step number four is after D, it's B. Click on symbol box and click down the arrow and select the symbol dollar. So from the symbol box here, I'm going to select the dollar symbol and then click on OK. So the part called click OK is not there here, but after that is done, make the decimal point places to 0 and click OK. You can make the decimal place here as well. See decimal places here it's 2 now. You can make the decimal place to 0 and click on OK. So that's the process of how that works. C A D B E. Is that clear, all of you? So we have to format now first. We have to change the number format first, and after you change the number format only, you have to basically from general you have to change it to currency. After you change the currency only, you have to change the other stuffs. This is called the number format too. If I open Excel in my lab, it signs in get started with Excel. Why is it coming? That's because Excel is a paid application. D is not needed, right? If you use num tab, yes. But then you need, yeah, you can, there are different approaches, but in the given answers, that's the order. Can't write C D A B E. C D A B. D and A, if you scroll, D and A. No. You can actually. That is also possible. You can write like that as well. Yes, you can, without in this, there are two orders. You can write like this as well. You can write CDA is also correct. CDAB is also correct. Both are acceptable. Any other questions? Yeah. Next. From the pie chart and line chart, which is the most suitable to compare the number of online users, the column E, and the number of online transactions, column C, over the period of 2015 to 2021. From the pie chart and line chart. Okay. If you take charts in Excel or in spreadsheet softwares, we have different types of charts now. We have the bar chart, which looks like this. We have the column chart that looks like this. We have the line chart that looks like this. We have the pie chart that looks like this. We have the XY scalar chart that looks like this. Okay. So out of these charts, whenever you get a question asking about comparing values, to compare values, the most suitable chart is first preference column chart, second preference line chart, third preference bar chart, and last preference line, XY scalar chart. XY scalar chart has different purpose. I am not going to talk about that here. Okay. But for comparing, all this can use. Keep in mind, pie chart is not suitable for comparing. Okay. You can't compare values easily in the pie chart. So as this question is talking about pie chart, so as this question is comparing line chart and pie chart, when you compare line chart and pie chart, for comparing, what is more suitable? Drop your answer in the main chat. Yeah. Correct. Out of the two charts, for comparing the most suitable chart is the line chart. So here the answer is going to be line chart. So keep in mind, pie chart is not suitable for comparing. Pie chart is only suitable representing data. This is how express pie chart looks like in terms of looks. No zoom out. That's a different perspective. There's a tab called number. So both are possible. Assume on a different spreadsheet, cell B5 contains a formula equals B2 divided by B3. If this formula is copied to cell C5, write down the formula that would appear in cell C5. Do we have to write the reason? They have not asked the reason. So because they have not asked the reason, you can directly mention. Okay, anyways. So they're saying if the cell B5 contains a formula equals B2 divided by B3, and what will happen if this formula is copied to cell C5 now? Keep in mind, even if you're jumping from multiple sheets, okay, even if you're jumping from one spreadsheet to another spreadsheet, this pattern is going to work the same. This pattern, yeah, this pattern is going to be working the same. So for example, yes, Kat. No, it's only for the seminars. In theory class, that doesn't happen. Okay. So what's going to happen is you have to see first of all where are we copying the formula. We are copying the formula here from B5 cells. So cell B5 contains equals B2 divided by 33. Okay. So we are copying the formula from B5. And what is the formula we are copying? We are copying the formula equals B2 divided by B3. And they are saying if this formula is copied to the cell for C5, that means copied and pasted onto the cell C5. So we are pasting it onto the cell C5. They're asking what will be the formula in cell C5. So again, you're going to apply the same method from B5 to C5. How can we go? You're going to first of all see are there any column changes? From B to C, are there any column changes? Yes. To go from column B to column C, you're going to go one cell towards the right. Are there any row changes? No. So once you figure out the changes, step number 2, apply the changes to every cell address in our formula. Okay. So from B2 cell, if you apply the going one cell right, from B2 if you go one cell right, okay. From B2 if you go one cell right, tell me what the cell we have. From B2 cell, if you go one cell right, from the B2 cell address, where was the next cell in the right side? Okay, this is the answer. Exactly. From the B2 cell, if you go one cell right, we have the C2 cell. Okay. We have the C2 cell. And then you have to apply the change for every cell. No, I said you apply this change for every cell address. So tell me from the B3 cell, if you go one cell right, what is the cell you'll have? From the B3 cell, if you go one cell right, perfect. From the B3 cell, if you go one cell right, you'll have the C3 cell. So the pasting cell, this is going to be our formula. So always keep in mind, step number 1, figure out the change from the copying cell to the pasting cell. Step number 2, every change. So normally there are two changes that could happen. One is a column change and one is a row change. So that column change and row change will apply for each and every cell address in the formula we copied. So after you apply for each and every formula you copied, you'll be able to get the formula in the pasting cell. So here the answer is equals B C2 divided by C3. This is the answer. Got it? Okay. Look at this question and tell me, anyone having any doubts regarding this? Roman number 6. What do you want in the Roman number 6? The Roman number 6 is exactly like the Roman number 2. So which part in the Roman number 6 are you referring to? Can I explain the fifth question again? In the fifth question, they are given two charts. One is a pie chart, one is a line chart. Out of these charts, they're asking which is suitable to compare. No? Always keep in mind, out of all these charts we have, when they use the word called compare, these are the charts that can be used for comparing. Pie chart is used only to represent data, not to compare. But these charts can be used to compare as well as represent. So in that question, they ask you out of line and pi, who is suitable to compare? It's definitely the line chart. Got it? When you copy and paste B2 divided by B3 to cell C5, only if it gets changed to C2 to C2. Yes, correct. When is dollar sign used? Dollar sign is used if you want something not to change. When I'm copying and pasting, you can see the cell address is changing, right? When you want the cell address not to change, you put the dollar symbol. Yes, Farah. Can you show an example where changes happen to the column and row both? Yes, give me a moment. The second question, dollar symbol is wrong, right? Yes, it is wrong. Depends on the question and we use it. Why did B5 become B2 divided by C2? B5 did not change. They're saying on the B5 cell, we have this formula. Okay, one of you will ask what will happen if both the cells change, right? Okay, imagine something like this. Imagine we have the A3 cell. Let's say in the A3 cell, we have the formula equals B6 plus D8. And let's say you copy this formula. Both are correct for Roman number 4. So the correct, these are correct. I would actually suggest this one, but out of the two, I would suggest this fellow. But this is also correct. Okay, so they are saying in this question, let's say you have a formula called A3 cell. In the A3 cell, let's say we have the formula equals B6 plus D8. Okay, let's say we're going to copy this formula from A3 cell and let's say we're going to paste it onto the B6 cell. Okay, we're going to copy it from A3 and paste it onto B6. So when you copy from A3 and paste to B6, step number 1, figure out how to go from A3 to B6. A to B, you're going one column towards the right, from column A to column B. From 3 to 6, we're going 3 rows down, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Once you figure out the column change and row change, we'll apply this to each and every cell address. The first cell address is what? B6. From B6, if you go one column to the right, from B it will become to C6. From C6 cell, if you go 3 cells down, C6 to C7, C7 to C8, C8 to C9. Again, what I did here is from the B6 cell, I went one cell right. Then I went to the one cell right, I went to the C6 cell. From the C6 cell, I should go 3 cells down. When I go 3 cells down, I have the C9 cell. That's how this B6 became C9. Similarly, the plus is as it is going to be there. If I take the D8, from the D8 cell, if I'm going to go, what do you call? From this D8 cell, if I'm going to go one cell towards the right, because you can see first change is one cell towards the right. That's going to go to E8. From the E8 cell, if I go 3 cells down, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. So 11. So my pasting cell will be C9 plus 11. Got it? Perfect. Any other questions anyone have regarding this? Okay, let's go for the next one. Question number 5. Here they're saying a vehicle rental company intends to create a database to store its information. They want to include the company's cars, the details of the people renting them, and the details of the vehicles currently on the rent. Fine. So they're saying there's a database and there has these 3 data that's been stored. Nothing big is mentioned in that paragraph. Let's go through the questions. The question says, you can, Halima, you can. Write whether the following clause are true or false. Let's check. VID is a foreign key of the customer table. CID is a primary key of the customer table. Fine, let's find. Normally, in every table you take, there'll be some field that's unique to that table. The field that's unique for the table, we call it as a primary key. Okay, Ocean. Okay, the field that's unique for the table, we call it as a primary key. So for example, if you look at this table we have here, there are the vehicle table we have here. The vehicle table, okay, the vehicle table has three columns. So every column we call as a field. This is one field, this is another field, and this is another field. So out of these three fields, we have to figure out which field contains only unique values. Tell me now, out of these three fields we have, which field do you think that has unique values? Drop it in the main chat. Out of B underscore ID, title, and available. Out of ID, title, and available, what do you think would always contain only unique values? Yes, every vehicle is going to have a unique ID. So that unique ID is going to be considered as a unique value, right? So therefore, you can tell this is going to be the primary key. That's going to be the primary. Similarly, tell me, look at the customer table. The customer table has four fields: customer ID, customer name, customer's telephone, and customer's address. Out of name, telephone, address, what do you think would be unique for every customer? Every customer is going to have it unique. Yes, Rona. Telephone, there's a problem. Now, for example, let's say, what do you call let's say there are two customers, okay, from the same house. For example, let's say you and your brother are both in the same house. And if you look at all the phone numbers, you can see land phone number, right? See all the land phone numbers. So let's say you and your brother have two vehicles and both of you live in the same house. So both of you are going to give the same land phone number. Makes sense? Yes. The name can repeat, telephone number can repeat, address also can repeat. These are three datas that can repeat. Okay. But customer ID, you can see for every customer, there's a unique ID given. So therefore, in the customer table, the primary key is going to be the customer ID. Clear? And then in the vehicle customer table, now vehicle customer table, nicely tell me, is there any field containing unique values? Now vehicle customer is talking about, now this is talking about rental company. No? So in rental company, what do they mean by this? A customer going and whenever customer goes and rents a vehicle, okay, when a customer is going to rent a vehicle, will be mentioned the date he's going to rent it, the vehicle he's going to rent, and who is the customer who rented. So whenever you go and rent a vehicle, there'll be a record. Look at the customer vehicle customer table and tell me, are there any fields that can contain unique values? Don't just see only the given data. Just practically think, could there be any column that will contain only unique data? Summarize. No, there is no column that can contain unique data. Why I'm saying that is, even though if you look at the date, one is 18, 25, 2nd, and 12th. Even though the given dates are all unique, tell me on a specific date, let's say, for example, on 12th of June. On 12th of June, can't four people come and take four different cars and go? Is it possible for four people to come and take four different cars and go? On the same date, 12th June, can four different customers come and take four different cars? Yes, can. Exactly. It's possible. Now tell me, for example, let's say, so therefore date can repeat. Now, if two people come and take two different cars, so we can say on 12th June, okay, V100 has gone. Do you know what V100 is? V100 is Aqua. So on 12th June, the Aqua car has been taken by V100 is Aqua. No? Aqua car has been taken by SW04. Who is SW04? Opali. We can say Opali has taken the, what do you call, Aqua. Now let's say on 12th of June, same 12th of June, right? Let's say the Nissan car, that is V101, has been taken by Dinesh SW02. So on the same date, two different cars has been rented. So that you can see it's possible to repeat. So date is something that can repeat. Just like that, tell me, is it possible? Could there be a possibility that the vehicle ID can repeat in this table? In the vehicle underscore customer table, is it possible for the VID to repeat? What do you think? Again, yes. The reason is because, for example, let's say today on 12th of June, let's say on 12th of June, what do you call Upali has taken the Aqua or they're taking for rent? No. You take for rent, you got what? return it back. So let's say Opari took it on 12th of June, and let's say on 15th of June, he has given it back. So after he gave it on 15th of June, now what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on 18th of June. On 18th of June, now it's returned on 18th June, okay? On 18th June, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this vehicle called the Aqua, and let's say my name is Vidura, okay? So S001 is Vidura. So what's going to happen is Vidura is going to take that same vehicle, but not on the same day, on a different date. On a different date, Vidura is going to take. So vehicle is also something that can repeat. Okay. Similar, tell me, customer ID. Can the customer ID repeat in this vehicle customer table? Yes. For that, I don't have to give an example. Directly, you can see S001 is there here as well. S001 is there here as well. That means who Vidura has gone and rented a, what do you call, VW Nissan car on 18th May. And Vidura has gone and rented 104. That is a Wagoner on 2nd of June. So you can see the same customer can come again, right? So technically, all three fields can be repeated multiple times. So when you can't find one unique field, now you have to see, okay, one thing you can't find uniquely, but can we take two together and find unique? Now, for example, imagine a classroom. If I'm going to identify each of you using the first name, there can be several people with the same first name. Okay, there can be two Hafsas, there can be two, what do you call, Mohammeds, there can be two, what do you call, Abdul Rahman. Those are like names that are very common in the classrooms, right? So without using only the first name, if I use only the last name, again, there could be repetitions. For example, there can be two Ismails, there can be two, what do you call, Hassans, there can be two, blah, blah. Those are like, so those names are like very common. Many people might have, say, two Fernandos can be there, two Pereiras can be there. It's very difficult if I'm going to use last name only. So what I can do, I can take the first name and last name both together. So I'll be like, oh, Yusuf Riaz. Okay. Or else for like Adil Ikam. So I'm taking both together. If I take both together, then yes, I can sometimes find uniquely, right? Similarly, if you look at this table, even though one column cannot be taken uniquely, there could be situations where two columns can be taken uniquely. If you can't with two columns, then you go for three columns. Okay. If you can't with two columns, then you go for three columns. So if I go and look at this data here, I have a date column and VID column, right? Now tell me, on the same date, can the same vehicle be taken by two different people? On the same date, the same vehicle, can two people have it? On 12th of June, can another person also have the same B underscore 100? No. Can't, right? Now, for example, if I have taken the car, when the car is with me, no one else can take the car. When the car is with me, only I can drive the car, right? So therefore, even though what you call every columns cannot be, every rows, I mean, every column cannot contain unique data, one thing you can keep in your mind is both of them, date and VID, as a pair, will not repeat. You will not find another 18th May. Again, you can't go and take the V101. On 2nd June, you can again take the V104. On 12th June, you can again go and take the V100. So on a specific date, only one person can have the car. So therefore, to form the primary key, if you're going to take only one column, you can call as primary key. But to form the primary key, that means to find, if you want to identify every records uniquely, if you have to take multiple columns, then for such primary key, you have a special name. What is the special name? Can we get in half a day, right? Normally, vehicle renters, they don't give half a day. These vehicle rentals also normally a 1 day vehicle, like per day. That's why they record the date. If it's half a day, then they'll take the time in and time out. If they have not mentioned what time are we taking, what time are we giving. So most probably it's about a day. It depends. Huh? From scenario to scenario, it can change, but based on the given data, it doesn't look like that. Yes, to form the primary key, if you have to form the primary key means to identify every records uniquely. If you have to take more than one record, you have to take more than one field. Okay, if you take more than one field to identify each record uniquely, such primary key have a special name for them. We call them as composite primary key. So we can take two fields as one. Yes, we can take two fields as one. If you're taking two fields as one, that's called a composite primary key. What if you take all three and form the primary key? You use always minimum number of columns to form the primary key. If you can use one column, you use only one column. If you can't use one column, you see that you can do it two columns. If you can't with two columns, then only you go for three columns. Got it? So composite primary key is also a primary key. But if you're using more than one field, there's a special name for such primary key. We call it composite primary key. Okay, that's what primary key is. So primary key is mainly used to identify every records uniquely. Correct. Custom ID and VID can be custom ID and VID can be can they repeat? Custom ID and VID, they actually can repeat. For example, imagine something is, imagine today is your wedding, okay? And for your wedding, you want to rent 3 cars. You're going to rent all these 3 cars under your name. Possible, right? Normally in weddings, you might notice under the main person to organize the event, that will go and they might rent multiple cars for the wedding. Or Manamart and Piribaset and they might have multiple cars, right? So there can be situations where you're going to rent 3 cars under the same person's name. Like for you don't think that much. If you have gone for that Maharagama bicycle park, sorry, Bellamila bicycle park, sometimes taking bicycles. Sometimes under your one parent's ID card, you might take 2 bicycles, right? Like if you're going with your siblings, that can happen, right? So there could be situations like that. Under the same person's ID, there could be 2 vehicles taken as well. But again, that's rare. So we don't have enough of data. But your answer is valid. Huh? So if they ask you this one, if you tell actually BID plus customer, it's actually in one perspective, it's fair. So what is the composite primary key for the vehicle customer table? The composite primary key is date. I would suggest date plus V underscore ID because it's very rare that both of them can repeat together. Because normally in vehicle rentals, you rent for a day. On the same day, they don't give even on the same day, they don't give for 2 people because after you return back the vehicle, they have to inspect the vehicle and see have you done any problems, have you like broken any parts, have you stolen any parts. So on the same day, it's very rare they give for 2 people. That's why I will suggest date plus VID. Custom ID plus date. No, custom ID plus date is not suitable. But same example I told you. Custom ID plus date can repeat, right? The same customer is going to take 3 vehicles for his wedding. He's going to rent 3 vehicles. Date can repeat. I said date plus VID. Both of them as a pair will not repeat. Both of them as a pair will not repeat. Why do you want 3? Rahma, what are you doing here? Okay, fine. Is it here 3? Good. That's why I was wondering what is Rakib doing. Okay, next. Date plus VID plus C. When you can form the primary key using one field, use it one field. If you can't using one field, you go for 2 fields. If you can't using 2 fields, you go for 3 fields. So always you use the minimal number of fields possible. Next, the foreign key. Foreign key is basically a primary key of another table. Meaning, I have a primary key here, right? If this primary key is mentioned in another table, when a primary key is mentioned on another table, in the other table it becomes a foreign key. So tell me, what do you call if you look at this, what do you call table, then there's a field called VID, right? Look at the whole database and tell me. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. Look at the whole database and tell me. The VID field, is it mentioned in any other tables apart from the vehicle table? VID is a primary key of the vehicle table, no? So apart from the vehicle table, is the VID mentioned anywhere else? Answer in the main chat. Yes. Okay. Yes. What is the table we have the VID? What is the other table which we have VID? Perfect. It's the vehicle customer table. Here VID. So when a primary key is mentioned on another table, it becomes a foreign key. So VID in the customer table, if you take VID alone in the vehicle customer table, it is a foreign key. So whenever primary key is mentioned on another table, it becomes a foreign key. Similarly, we have the primary key of customer table is customer, Do we have this customer ID mentioned in another table? The primary key of customer table is customer ID. Do we have this customer ID mentioned in another table? Yes. Which table? Exactly. In the vehicle underscore customer table. So when a primary key is mentioned in another table, in other table it becomes a foreign key. Okay. In other table it becomes a not exactly Arthika. It forms a foreign key. So therefore, this is also going to be another foreign key. Okay. So we have two foreign keys. One is vehicle ID in customer table. The other foreign key is customer ID in foreign table. So the first question they are saying, VID is a foreign key of the vehicle underscore customer table. Is it a foreign key? Yes. Second one, they're saying customer is a primary key of the customer table. That's also yes. So both of them are actually true. Anyone having any questions here? Drop in the chat. Can foreign key repeat? Yeah. Just try. You don't have to use arrows. You can just mention the table name and just mention VID custom CUS underscore ID in customer table. V underscore ID in vehicle table. Just a field name and table name. Okay, next. What table needs to be updated for the following changes? Getting a new vehicle V underscore 105 as a Audi for rent. Okay. So we're not going to take a vehicle for rent, right? They're asking which table should get updated. So whenever someone is going to go and take a rent, okay, when someone is going to go and take the rent, the V105. Do we have a vehicle called V105? First of all, if you look at, we can see, no, we don't have a vehicle called V105. So first of all, because we don't have that vehicle, I register that vehicle, right? To register that vehicle here, I should go and update the vehicle table. So vehicle table does not have the vehicle, no. So because I don't have the vehicle there, I have to go and register the vehicle first. To register the vehicle, I have to update the vehicle table. Apart from updating the vehicle table, uh, yeah, only the vehicle has to. They are not okay. In this question, they have not told that a customer is renting a vehicle. They just have told that they're adding a new vehicle called. They're adding a vehicle called V105 for rent. That means anyone can come and rent that new vehicle. So you're getting a new vehicle now. So getting a new vehicle means you update the vehicle table only. Okay. If you have any questions there, drop in the chat. Next, Mr. Gayatra is renting Nissan vehicles on 5th of July 2023. Now, if you take Mr. Gayatra is whom? Yes, is Mr. Gayatra a registered person if you look and see? Yeah, Mr. Gayatra is already registered. Is Nissan a vehicle that's been registered if you look and see? Yes, that's also a vehicle that's been registered. So, if Mr. Gayatra is actually getting that Nissan vehicle, tell me which table should you update? You can update the main chat. If Mr. Gayatra, that's this S003, if he's renting the Nissan vehicle, this V101, which table had an update to show that? Perfect. To show that change, I should update the vehicle customer table. So I'm going to mention here vehicle customer vehicle customer table. This is a table I had to update to show that change. We don't have to update the vehicle table. Okay. We have to actually update the vehicle table as well. Sorry. We have to update the vehicle table as well. My bad. In the vehicle table, there's one thing that has to be updated, right? You can see out of the three fields we have, there's a field called available. After a person goes and rents a vehicle, what you should do? You have to change that availability from yes to no. So therefore, we'll update the vehicle table as well. So I'm going to mention a vehicle underscore customer table and vehicle table. both the tables has to be updated. The update we are going to do in the vehicle table is change this from yes to no. The availability is going to change. For the composite key, if the vehicle is not going to repeat on the same day, then why can't it be CID plus VID? Because the same customer can only borrow once per vehicle. Why you sleeping when I told about the wedding example and the Bellangle example? Yes. So both those tables has to be updated. Do we have to think that deep? You have to just go through all the columns and see, should this column be updated? Does this column get affected? Does this column get affected? That's how you think. Do we have to draw and indicate? No, no. The question is asked just the tables. So because they've asked just the tables, we'll just mention the table names only. Give me an example, Adilo. In the second question, Anudi's vehicle is not given. Not Anudi means Audi. Audi is a brand. Next, you understand that example. Imagine you have a function at your house. Okay. For your function, let's say you're going to rent some these ones, rent some vehicles. Okay. So let's say you're going to go to the shop to rent it. So you might sometimes rent all three vehicles under on it. Got it? If it's a function at your house and you're going to rent it for your function, you might rent all the vehicles under your name. That's the idea. To show if it's available or not, like it first vehicle is available and then they have another entry. Not put another entry, they'll update the existing entry. What's up, Aram? A new customer S005 named Sisira, a resident of Kaduala, registered under the phone number blah blah blah, and he rented a Wagoner on 10th July. Which table needs to be updated? Okay, first of all, they're saying there's a new customer called Sisira, right? Now they have told you that there's a new customer called Sisira. So if there's going to be a new customer, which table has to be updated to include a new customer? Yes, Farah, correct. Uzair, can't you see what I wrote here? Perfect. If there's a new customer, we'll update the customer table. Correct. Okay, when there's a new customer, we're supposed to update the customer table. So I'm going to first of all mention a customer table. First of all, I'm going to mention a customer table. Apart from the customer table, they have told that Cicero is going to what do you call rent a Wagoner on 10th of July, right? When Cicero is going to rent a Wagoner on 10th July, tell me, are there any updates I should do for the vehicle table? When I'm talking about update, there are two types of updates that can happen. When you say update, I mean, when I'm talking about updating a table, there are two things about updating a table. One thing is an existing data can be modified. Second thing is a new data can be created. So if you're going to add a new data for a table, that's also update. If you're going to modify an existing data, that's also update. These are two possible updates. Huh? Tell me, are there any updates we'll do for the vehicle table? Yes, we will change the availability. Correct. We will change the availability for the of the Wagoner, right? Yes, we will change the availability of Wagoner from the availability of Wagoner has to be changed. Right. So therefore, I would update the vehicle table as well. Apart from updating the vehicle table, tell me, should I update the vehicle underscore customer table? Is it important to update the vehicle underscore customer table? Why again? When I say update, I said there are two types of updates. One is adding a new record. One is modifying existing data. Wagoner, we don't have to add a new record, but we will change this availability, right? When someone goes and takes a vehicle, we will change the availability. And in this what do you call it, paper, they have just showed you the data after 12th June. So how do you know that Wagoner is not still returned back? Because now we are going to give the vehicle on 10th July. So most probably for 1 month the vehicle won't be there. 11, 11, 11. Okay, so we'll update the should we update the vehicle and customer table? Again, yes, because for example, vehicle customer table is only going to show that it's going to get updated. Let me show you the updates. Huh? So vehicle underscore customer. The next question is asking to show the updates. No, let me show you how you can normally show the updates. So the next question is asking show the updates. If they ask you to show the updates, like in this question, you have to always follow this pattern. Don't redraw the whole table. Without redrawing the whole table, you will show the table name and field name pattern. So let's go table by table. First of all, customer table. So first of all, let me write here. I'm writing the answer for the B question. Huh? Question number, Roman number 3B. So first of all, the customer table. So I write the name of the table here, customer table. And from the customer table, I will mention each field's value. In the customer table, the first field contains the customer ID. The new customer's ID is what? S005. So I'm going to mention here S005. In the customer table, the second field contains a name. What is the new customer's name? Sisira. So I'm going to mention here Sisira. In the customer table, the third field contains what? The telephone number. What is the new customer's telephone number? 011 290 9019. So I mentioned that here. The next field contains the address. What is the address of this person? He is from Kaduvala. So I mentioned here Kaduvala. So this is how I mention the customer tables change. Likewise, each table you have to mention. Now I'm going to mention the vehicle table's name. Now in vehicle table, I am not adding a new record. Instead of adding a new record, what I'm going to do here in the vehicle table is I'm going to actually modify an existing data. So what I'm going to modify? The Wagonar's data, right? The Wagonar, it is mentioned as V104. Okay. So I'm going to mention that V104. Again, in the given data, it's mentioned as no. But again, you're keeping in mind that this is not the database up to date. This is the database as per 12th of June, right? So as per the data given here, what do you call on 2nd June, the Wagonar was taken by Vidura. Okay. So after Vidura takes the Wagonar, he'll be returning it back, right? After Vidura returns it back, this no will have been changed to yes. Okay. So even though the table has marked this as no, in reality, we will take the latest data. This will have as yes, probably. Because only if it's available, he can borrow it, right? If it is not available, can he borrow it? No. So only if the car is available, he can borrow. So definitely you have to change the no to yes. So yes to no. So I'm going to mention the Wagonar, and I'm going to make that no. And the given data is already no, but again, practically think for someone to borrow, with no can they borrow? No. Only with yes they can borrow. So we'll change that yes to no. Next. Path 11. The third table is the vehicle underscore customer table. So again, mention the third table's name here. Vehicle underscore customer. Then you are mention every field's value. In the vehicle underscore customer table, the first field contains the yes, Anik. So vehicle underscore customer table, the first field contains date. So date he's going to borrow is 10th of July 2024. So I'm going to mention it 10th July 2024. In the vehicle customer table, the second field contains the vehicle ID. So Wagonr's vehicle ID is going to be what? Wagonr's vehicle ID is V104. So I mentioned a V104. And the next field contains the customer ID. So what is the new customer's ID? S005. I mentioned that here. So this is how you mention the updated records. Don't draw the table because the question is clearly mentioned to use this format. Table name, field 1, field 2 format. I didn't understand the yes, no thing. Now tell me, this availability is meaning, is the vehicle available? No. If this was by default, if this, no, before you modify this, if it was no, can, who, what do you call Cicera? Will Cicera be able to even rent the vehicle if the availability is no? If the vehicle is not available, can Cicera go and rent the vehicle? Yes or no? Karthik, I'm asking from you. Yes, the correct format has to mention it. If the format is not mentioned, I would prefer you following that one. Yes, if they don't ask the formula, form if they have not mentioned the format, I would prefer you going in this format. Don't draw the table. It's unwanted energy consumption. Yes, yes. The format was not given, should you draw the table? If the format was not given also, I would recommend you to go in this one. This is the easiest format. Don't draw the table and waste your time. In the vehicle table, do we have to write yes or no? We have to make the no big, it's like this. In the given data, it's no. But practically think, man, if it's no, can someone go and borrow the vehicle? The word available means, is it available or not? If the vehicle is available, it's yes. I told you this is not the latest data. These are part of the database, not the full database. You imagine a practical scenario. Imagine this is you practically think and tell me between what you call 2nd June the Wagoner was taken. Between 2nd June to what you call 10th July, you think that no one would have rented a vehicle. No, vehicle renting companies goes very quickly, very hard to get the vehicles. So they have given just a part of the database. Make sense? So even the given data is not updated. Okay, next. You will mention the field names. No, you have to mention exactly like how I mentioned. Mention exactly how I mentioned, you get the marks. Simple. Then Roman number 4. Which table should be connected to prepare a query to find the people who have rented aqua cars? Okay, query means how you can obtain the data from a database. So obtaining data from the database, we call it as query or extracting data. Now, if you let's say I ask the question, if I ask you the question, okay, tell me the what do you call names of the people who have rented the aqua cars. Okay. If I ask you to tell me the names of the people who have rented the aqua cars, what are the tables you have to go through? Wait. Let me on the main chat. Let me open the main chat. Yeah. Okay. Tell me if I ask you the question, okay, who are the to give me the names of the people who have rented the aqua car, what are the tables you will be going through? Only the vehicle, only the customer, only the vehicle customer, or all three tables? What are the tables you have to go through to tell me the names of the people who have rented the aqua car? Yes, Talha. Yes, Salu. Queries obtaining data from a database. Exactly. All three tables. Like for example, if you are supposed to find here the what do you call the people who are entered the aqua cars, first of all, you might go to the vehicle table. In the vehicle table, you might go and find what is the aqua cars ID. So here you can say aqua cars ID is what? V100. Then you might come for the vehicle customer. And you might go and see who are the people who have taken V100. So V100 has been taken by whom? S004. To find S004 name, you might come with the customer table. So you went here first and got the Aquacar's ID. Then you came here second and found that Aquacar was rented by S004. You came here third and found Upal is the name of the person who actually rented the Aquacar. So you had to go through all three tables, right? So therefore, all three tables has to be joined to get the answer for who have rented the Aquacar. So the question is asking which table should be connected. Tables should be connected means indirectly they're asking what are the tables you have to go through to find the people who have rented Aquacars. So you have to go through all three tables. Don't mention all three, just mention the tables' names. Like don't mention all three tables, don't mention exactly the table names. That's what vehicle table, customer table, and vehicle underscore customer table. All three tables has to be gone through to find the answer. Is that clear? If you have any questions, drop in the chat. But you have written no in the third field. Again, I'll repeat this no part. Nice listen, huh? Nice listen. The last time I explained this. Okay. The word this table. Okay. In this table, it is basically up to it's updated only until 12th of June 2024. Okay. Can you actually print it now after let's say today someone went and rented the car. Can you go and update it today on a paper which is already printed? Obviously, no, right? So this table is updated only until 12th of June, right? Now this Wagoner they have mentioned it is no as per the table because here they're talking about 12th of June. So let's say by 12th of June it was not returned. But practically tell me, okay, if Cicero wants to rent the Wagoner, can Cicero go and rent a vehicle that is not available? Use your, I hope you have a brain. So use your brain and tell me, can Cicero go and rent a vehicle that is not available? The available is telling whether yes or no. Yes means it is available, no means not available. Use your brains and tell me, can a person go and rent a vehicle that is not available? No. So that means before Cicero goes and rents it, okay, before Cicero goes and rents it, what do you think the value that has to be mentioned here? Should it be yes or no? Before he, even though the given data is not been updated, practically what will be the data here? Yes or no? Before he updates, before he gets a vehicle, the available should be exactly. Before he gets the vehicle, the available should be yes. The word available means is this vehicle available or not? If it is available, it's mentioned as yes. If it is not available, it's mentioned as no. So only if it was yes, only if this was yes, Cicero can even go and get it. I again told you this database is not updated as per 12th of July. So 10th of July, it's updated as per what? Only 10th of 12th of June. After someone came and updated in between the gap, he is not mentioned here. So practically you have to think, okay, if Cicero is going to go and get that vehicle, definitely before he gets the vehicle, this has to be yes, right? If it was no, can he even go and get it? No. Only if the vehicle was available. Only if yes, if it was available, he can go and get it. So that means when Cicero is going to get it, by default, it has to be yes there. And after he gets it, that yes has to be changed to no. Does that make sense? Always you can't depend on the given data. You can always think what is meant by query. Obtaining data from a database is query. Okay, next. Which tool and database management software should be used to obtain a record of each customer's rental vehicle? Okay. Normally, if you take a database management system, there are four tools. We call this a DBMS. A DBMS has four tools. One is something called forms. Like you all have used Google Forms, right? Just like that Google Forms, you can create forms in a DBMS as well. So example for DBMS is database management system is Microsoft Access. Using application like Microsoft Access, you can create something called forms, just like Google Forms, to enter data. You can send the forms to people and people can enter the data. So whatever the data people enter through forms, those are stored inside tables. So forms are used to obtain data to get the data from a person. Tables are used to store the data. Then we have something called query. Query is used to obtain the data from the database, obtain from DB. So from the database, if you want to obtain some data, so like for example, in the Roman number 4, we are obtaining the names of the people who have rented the car. So obtaining data from a database, we use a feature called query. Storing the data on the database form, tables are used. To get the data from the user or to enter the data into the table. Okay. To enter the data into the table, you enter it through forms. To enter the data to the table, you enter forms. To store the data, you have tables. To obtain from the table or from the whole database, if you want to obtain, you have to use queries. To export the data, we have something called reports. So report is something used to export. That means to download the data. If you want to download the data, you can download as a report. So here they are saying which tool should be used to obtain a record of each customer's rental vehicles. To do that, we use obtaining data. That is query. Reports are normally used to export or else extract. So here the answer is going to be query. Got it? In database relations, is there something? Okay, I'll come to that. Wait. That means we have to write yes, right? Ade. I told you again, listen. I'm not going to explain it. And before you go and obtain it, it's yes, man. Before we obtain it, it has to be yes. Only if it's yes, we can obtain this vehicle. Don't always be blindly following a question, man. Think a practical scenario. That's a question that is not worth the answer, Halima. So I'll ignore it for now. The query means obtain data from database. Like for example, I'll show you a database. Here you can see values, right? Okay, let's say these are the prices of a fish pot. Sorry, price of food. Price of food. Let's say we have a table like this. Okay, let's say we have a table that contains names of the food and their price. So I'll call this as, let's say, fish bun. I'll call this, let's say, egg bun. I'll call this, let's say, chicken bun. I'll call this fish beef bun. And I'll call this, let's say, plain bun. Or let's say I want to find out the names of the I want to find out the buns that are more than 50 rupees. Okay. If you want to find the buns that are more than 50 rupees, now they think this is not a database, but imagine this is a database. Imagine this is a table. So imagine this is a table. And from this table, imagine I want to obtain the buns, the names of the buns technically that are more than 50 rupees. I can write something called query. So a query might look like this. I'm writing queries in spreadsheet, but this is not how real queries are. It's a bit different. I might be like, give me all the names of the buns that are more than 50 rupees. So you can see, it didn't give me all the buns. No, it gave me only the buns that are more than 50 rupees. Only egg bun, chicken bun, beef bun. Out of all these buns, it gave me only the buns that are more than 50 rupees. So from this, I got it here, right? Now, for example, if I go and add a new bun, for example, let's say I'm going to add a new bun here called blah, blah bun. Or let's say I'll call this, let's say, tea bun. Now, let's say the price of tea bun is 49 rupees. See, he's not showing here. But I'm going to change the price of tea bun to, let's say, 63 rupees. See, it's showing here. This is what query is. From a table, extracting data is what you call as a query. Now, here I wrote query in Google Sheets, but in a spreadsheet software. But in a database, query is a bit different. But this is what database is. Obtaining data from a data table is what query is. Get it clear? Okay, next. Perfect. I will talk about data database relationships later because this question doesn't have database relationships. I'll ignore this. At the end, I'll talk about that. Okay. What is DCMD and MS Access? They are examples for database management systems. Like for example for spreadsheet software is Microsoft Excel and Google Sheet, right? Just like examples for the it is not DCMS. This is database management system, DBMS. Huh? DBMS is a type of application. Like spreadsheet is a type of application. Word processing software is a type of application. Camera is a type of application. Social media is a type of application. DBMS is a type of application. Example for DBMS is Microsoft Access. Got it? Okay, next. Next, we're going to go for the programming question. What is reports? Reports is this. If I go and download this data, that's technically reports. If I go and click on file, download, this is technically a report. The data that's going to get downloaded, it's a report. So basically, the ability for you to download data from a database, export data from a database is basically report. Clear? Nothing else is than reports. Tables are used to store data. Okay, let's go for the question number 7 now. Again, I'll tell you all, when I'm asking questions, if I ask you, okay, if I don't understand, tell me, then they ask a question. So for example, let's say in the first question, I'm talking about composite primary key. I'll ask you in the first question, tell me all your questions. When I'm doing the fifth question, if you ask me about composite primary key, I will not reply your doubts. Okay. It's just a warning I'm giving you. Then they ask your doubts and get it cleared. Okay. So in this question, they have said, consider the following flowchart and answer questions. Fine. So the first question is, what will be the output if the number entered are 9, 7, 3, 1, and 6 respectively? Let's check. To figure out that, first of all, we have to go through the program, right? The program is starting fine. And then they are mentioning here, input the first number as num. So input the first number as num means what they're meaning by that is they're saying give a value for num. They're asking to give a value for num. So the question is saying the first number of num is going to be how much? 9. So I'm going to give the value for num as 9. Right? If you have any doubts, drop in the chat. The second thing they're saying least is equal num. So there's a variable called least, it seems, right? And the value of least is equal to num. Now, when they say least is equal num, tell me what is the numeric value of least? There's a variable called least. What do you think the value of least is going to be? Mention your answer in the group main chat. What is the numeric value of least? Yes. Num is equal 9. So least is also going to be 9. Perfect. If you don't have if you did not understand anything, then they ask your questions. Don't drag your questions, I think, until the last moment. Okay. Apart from saying least is equal to num, they're also mentioning that I equals 1. So I'm going to mention another column called I. And I'm saying the value of I is equal to 1. Then they're saying count is equal to 5. Okay, fine. I'm going to have another column called count. And I'm going to mention the value of count is going to be equal to 5. Then there is a decision box here. Here we're going to go and check, is the value of I, okay, is it less than or equal to count minus 1? What is the value of I? I is 1. You can look at the table and say I is 1. We're going to go and check, is 1 less than or equal to count minus 1? Count is 5. So tell me, what do you think the value of count minus 1 is going to be? The question has mentioned I equals 1. Yeah. So every value they have mentioned, I'm storing in a table. I equals 1, I equals 1. Count equals 5, count, I mentioned count is 5. Least equals num, the values I mentioned in the table. Simple. Yes, count is 5. So count minus 1 is 4. So we are going to go and check, is 1 less than or equal to 4? Now this is a condition. It's like a question. Always a condition can have two possible results. Either true, which means yes, or else false, which means no. Tell me, when I go and check is 1 less than or equal to 4, what do you think the answer is? Yes or no? If I go and check is 1 less than or equal to 4. Yes or no? Is 1 less than or equal to 4? Is 1 less than 4? Yes, 1 is less than 4, no man. So therefore, we're going to go in the yes pattern. Perfect. So therefore, we're going to go in the yes direction. So once you go in the yes direction, you're going to go down the yes direction. Here we have input next number as num. So now we're going to get the second number, the next number for num. What the question said? The question said the numbers we're going to enter. First we enter 9. The next number we're going to enter is 7. So that means all this in the value of numbers 9, no. Now they're saying enter the next number of num as 7. So I replace that 9 to 7. Okay. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Don't wait until I finish this question. Don't wait until I complete the table. Huh? If you have any doubts, when I'm somewhere here, don't come and ask me how did that 7 come. Huh? I will not answer. Next. Now we're going to go and check is num less than least. How much is num? Num is 7. How much is least? Least is 9. So when you go and check is 7 less than 9, what is the answer? Yes or no? Yes, perfect. So therefore, we're going to go in the yes direction. So once we go in the yes direction, we have the least is equal to num. Always keep in mind, when you have an equation, if they say x equals 5, always an equation, we're giving a value for the variable mentioned in the left-hand side. So we're saying x is only equal to 5. So similarly, when you're saying least is equal to num, we are finding the value of least, right? So based on that, tell me, what do you think the new value of least is going to be? Least is equal to num. So how much is num? Num is going to be, so least is going to be equal to num. So what is the value of num? Currently num is equal to 7. So therefore the new value of least is going to be 7. So I'm going to change the value of least. Now the value of least is going to be 7. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. What is input next number as num mean? That means they're saying take a value from the user, getting the next value, store that value under the name called num. That's why under the name called num, I'm storing that value. Make sense? Okay. The next instruction we have is I equals I plus 1. Again, I told you in the equation, we are giving a value from the left-hand side, right? So based on that, tell me what will be the new value of I? I is equal to how much? New value of I is going to be? Currently, I is equal to 1. So after you say I is going to be equal to I plus 1, I is 1, I plus 1 means 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is how much? Yes, that's going to be 2. Method is given the question here. See, the first number they ask us to take as 9. The second number entering is 7. Okay. Then I follow the arrowheads and go. Then I follow the arrowheads and go. Again, it's coming to this question. Is I less than or equal to count minus I? I is now 2. Count minus 1. Count is actually 5. 5 minus 1 is how much? 4. So I'm going to go and check is 2 less than or equal to 4? Yes or no? When you go and check is 2 less than or equal to 4, what do you think the answer is? Yes. So because it is less, yes, I'm again going to go down. So next they're saying input next number as num. So we are supposed to enter a number. The number we're going to enter, we're going to store as num. The question said the numbers entered are 9, 7, and the next number is 3. So the next number value for num is going to be 3. Then you go and check is num less than least. Num is how much? Num is 3. Least is how much? Least is 7. So if you go and check is 3 less than 7, yes or no? Yes. So because it is yes, we're going to come for this, which says least equals num. So based on this, tell me, what do you think the new value of least is going to be equal to? Perfect. Least is equal to num. Num is how much? 3. So least is equal to 3. Least is equal to 3. Then you go for the next instruction, I equals I plus 1. Tell me after you follow this instruction, so I equals I plus 1 means they're going to find the new value of I. So currently how many is I? I is 2. So 2 plus 1 is how much? 3. So the new value of I is going to be equal to 3. Then I again follow the arrowheads and go. We're again going to come to this question asking, is count less than count minus 1? Now tell me, is count less than count minus 1? Yes or no? Count is how much? I, sorry, is I less than count minus 1? I is how much? I is actually 3. Is 3 less than or equal to count minus 1? Count is how much? 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. Is 3 less than or equal to 4? Yes or no? That's going to be yes. So we're going to come here to the yes direction. Input next number as num. So the next number is 1. So I enter 1. Then is num less than least? Num is 1. Least is 3. Is 1 less than 3? Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So I'm going to come in the yes direction. And they're saying least equals num. Tell me, after I follow the instruction least equals num, what do you think the new value of least is going to be equal to? Least is going to get the value of num, right? So how much is num? Perfect. Num is equal to 1. So least is going to get the value of 1. Then we are saying I equals I plus 1. So what is the new value of I after that? When you say I equals I plus 1, after you follow the instruction, what will be the new value of I? Currently I is 3. I plus 1 means 4. Then you again follow the instruction and go like this. Is I less than or equal to count minus 1? I is now 4. You're going to go and check is 4 less than or equal to count minus 1. Count is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 4? Yes or no? Perfect. That's going to give you yes. So you're going to go down. When you go down, you're going to take input next number as num. The question said the next number we're going to enter after one. We enter it's 9731. After 9731, the next number we're going to enter is 6. So I'm going to enter 6 here. Then we're going to go and check is num less than least. Num is 6. Least is 1. Is 6 less than 1? Yes or no? Is 6 less than 1? No. So we're going to go in the no direction. When you go in the no direction, you come for this instruction saying I equals I plus 1. Tell me after you follow this instruction I equals I plus 1, what will be the new value of I? Yes, currently I is 4. I plus 1 means 4 plus 1, 5. When you follow the lines and go up again, you're going to go and check is I less than or equal to count minus 1? I is 5, count is 5, count minus 1 is 4. Is 5 less than 4? Less than or equal to 4? Yes or no? When you go and check is 5 less than or equal to 4? Yes or no? No. So I'm going to come in this direction. When you come in this direction, you have print least. Look at the table and tell me what is the value of least at the moment. Yes, least is 1. So print least means output least. No. So 1 is going to get output. So the answer for this question is 1. What will be the output for this program? 1 is going to be the output for the program. Is that clear all of you? So if you're wondering what is the table I drew here, this table is called the dry run. You can understand how a program works by drawing a dry run. You can just write 1 even, but better draw this table for more accuracy. Got it? Okay. Write the pseudocode for the given flowchart. So in pseudocode, we mentioned start as begin. Why do you take least as output? Because the question has mentioned print least, no? To represent output, you can use the keywords, you can use a print, output, show, display. It's all same thing. So if they use the word print out, print list, show list, display list, those all representing an output. Got it? Synonyms. Because that's the value of list. The value of list is 1. So you can see when I cut it, the value got changed. Every time I cut something, the value got changed, right? So first list was 9, then 7, then 3. When the program ended, the value of list was 1. So when I say print list, it will go and print the value of list. So 1, got displayed. How did one come as value? Were you dreaming all this time? The value of lease became 9, 7, 3, 1, right? That we went through the whole program for the last half an hour, I guess. The last 50 minutes. Little by little, the value of lease became changed. It came to 1. It was 5 is not greater or equal to 4. Yes. And after we came for the no direction. When you came for the no direction, you said print list. Print the value of least. The value of least is how much? 1. Okay. Next. No, it'll finish at 11 o'clock. 11, 11, we'll finish at 11 o'clock. We started late, right? Because of the grade 10. Write the pseudocode for the given flow chart. No, output saying the print the least value. Print the value of the variable least. Okay, print the value of the variable these. These num is a variable, least is a variable, I is a variable, count is a variable. I guess I should do for a lesson-based seminar. I mean, I should take one lesson and teach it fully for you. You are very bad at certain lessons. I feel like the fundamentals of a lesson is very bad. Like in a seminar, I should not explain what do you mean by a variable. I can explain how to do the question, but don't expect me to explain what do you mean by a variable. Those are like things you should know actually. Okay, write the pseudocode for the given flowchart. So for the given flowchart, the pseudocode. In pseudocode, we represent start as begin. Start at begin here. And then input first number as num. You can directly mention as input num. You don't have to mention the input first number as num. If you want, you can mention like that as well, but you can directly mention as input num. Then least equals num, I equals 1, count equals 5. So least equals num. The variable least is equal to the variable num. I is equal to 1, count equals 5. Next. Okay, now you have a decision box. Normally, if you have a decision box, this decision box can represent two types of scenarios. One is it can represent a selection statement, that is like if then else, or else a decision box can represent a repetition structure, like while or repeat until. Okay, to figure out is it what you call selection or repeat, I actually told in all the paper class, I actually told it. Okay, so based on that, yes, no, it's wrong. So based on that, we have to first of all figure out, because decision box is used in selection as well, decision box is used in repetition as well. So we have to figure out, is this a selection structure or repetition structure? The easiest way is think like this. There are two people going. One person is going towards the yes direction and one person is going towards the no direction. Okay. Look at this flowchart and tell me if Aman is going in the yes direction and Bimal is going in the no direction. Only no, only yes. Huh? He's going only the yes, he's going only the no. Forget about the instructions. You ignore all the instructions. Ignore the like. Forget. Imagine that all the boxes have what do you call all those boxes have empty values. Nothing is there in the boxes. If Amar and Bimal goes in those two different directions, are there any places both of them can meet? Yes or no? He's going only in the yes direction. He's going only in the no direction. Can they meet anywhere? No. Okay. Look at this flow chart. I'll draw another flow chart here. Imagine you had something like this. Now, in this scenario, if one person goes in no direction, other person goes in yes direction, can they meet somewhere? Yes. In which place will they meet? Where is the place that both of them can meet? If they one person go in no direction, one person go in yes direction, correct. Both of them can meet in the box D. So if two people are going the yes and no direction, if they can meet somewhere common, that's going to be a selection structure. If they go in two different directions and if they can't meet each other, like this, two different directions, they will never meet each other. It's a repetition structure. So that's how you differentiate. Is it repetition or is it selection structure? Okay, that's how you differentiate that. Now, I know it's a repetition structure. Then you see, is it repeating when the condition is true or when the condition is false? You can see only when the condition is giving you yes, the repetition is happening. So if the condition is true when it repeats, we use a while loop. So now we have two repetition structures. Huh? One is a while loop and one is a repeat until loop. Now you have to be deciding, is it while loop or repeat until loop? No. How you decide that is if based on the condition being true or condition being yes, if we are going to repeat, it's while loop. If we are going to repeat only if the condition is giving you false or no, then it's a repeat until loop. Okay, that's how you decide. So here it's repeating only when the condition is yes, no. So I'm going to mention the word called while. In front of the word called while, I'm going to mention my condition. So here, what is the condition? Is I less than or equal to count minus 1. So while I is less than count minus 1, do, and what to do? Input next number as num. So I'm going to mention input num. After we input num, the next instruction is what? Is num less than least. Okay. Now look at this condition and tell me, is this condition box, okay, look at this condition box and tell me, is that condition box representing a selection structure or repetition structure? How it came while loop? Because in repetition structure, there are two repetition loop. One is while loop and repeat until loop. Okay. In the what we do in the rhombus is a condition, right? Only if the condition is giving you yes, if you're going to repeat, condition yes repeating is while loop. And condition no repeating means repeat until loop. Okay, coming back to the main part. This blue color highlighted one is what? Selection or repetition? Exactly. It's going to be a selection. Why selection? Because if one person is going to go from the no direction, another person is going in the yes direction, they can meet. See, yes fellow will come for this box first. After this box, he's going to come for this box. The no fellow, he's directly coming to this I equals I plus 1. So both of them can meet in his I equals I plus 1. See, both of them can meet in I equals I plus 1. So that blue color part is talking about a selection structure. I told you, if one fellow go in the yes direction, one fellow go in the no direction. If they can meet, selection. If they can't meet, repetition. Okay. So because they can meet is a selection structure. So I'm going to mention if and mention the condition. If num is less than least, if num is less than least, then what should happen? Yes, can meet selection, can't meet repetition. Least, if num is less than least, then least equals num. And then the selection structure is finishing. So you mention end if. After end if, the next one is we have is I equals I plus 1. So I equals I plus 1 is common for both. Whether the condition is true or false, for both I equals I plus 1 comes. So write the I equals I plus 1. Depends, Akifa. So once I equals I plus 1 is done, you can see we're again going and checking the condition, which means the repetition structure is over. So from there, the while loop finishes. So I'll be mentioning end while. So after the while loop is over, we have print list. So out of the end while, I'm going to mention the print list. And after that, the program ends. So this is how the pseudocode of this program is going to look like. Drop me a question in chat now. There is no else, no. See, when the condition is false, there is nothing specific to follow. Because I equals I plus 1, you're going to follow this when the condition is true and false both. That's why I wrote it out of end if. I wrote the end while when I'm again going to come and check the condition. See, after I equals I plus 1, if you follow the flow chart, after I equals I plus 1, I'm again going to come and check the condition. Right? So if I'm again going to come and check the condition, that means from there the while loop is over. So there I wrote the end while. And then after end while, you mention what to do if the while loop's condition is false. So after end while, whatever the while loop's condition is false. How do I decide if I should write down to? What do you mean down to? All the instructions below the conditions. Whatever below, no, the while loops condition, no. Whatever below the while loops condition which is coming in the yes direction. The yes direction, whatever is there, is going to come under do. Correct? Perfect. Next. I put the I equals n count equals when I stop the top of the input now. There are two inputs now. In this scenario, if you cross the position, it won't be a problem. Depends on the question. Better follow the same order. Don't mess up the order. Next. Following is a Pascal code given written to calculate the area of a rectangle. Find the appropriate term from the given list for 1, 2, 3, and 4 according to Pascal syntax. Okay, let's figure it out. In a Pascal program, the first line we mention the name of the program. So program area. Area represents the name of the program. Then you have something called length, width, area, and those are the variables we're going to use in the program. In front of the variable name, you can mention all the variable name comma separated. After all the variable name comma separated, you put a colon symbol, and after the colon symbol, you have to mention something called as data type of the Pascal program. Okay. So this whole line we call as variable declaration. This whole line we call as variable declaration. So when you're declaring a variable, okay, when you're declaring a variable, you're use a word called var here. Okay, so it's var length width area as integer. So number one is representing the word called var. So var is normally used when you're declaring a variable. You mention the names of the variable, comma separated, colon, and then the data type. Next. Shouldn't you put input integer now? No, just input now. Then begin, then read length. Okay, after read length, you can say number two. So normally, if you take a what you call Pascal program, at the end of every instruction, you need a semicolon. Like this. Var length, comma width, comma area, integer. Correct? Anyways, at the end of every instruction, you're supposed to mention a semicolon. So therefore, you can see now after number two, there's something missing, right? That number two is representing a semicolon. After every instruction, semicolon is missed. Then you have area is equal length in width. Normally, if you take a pseudocode, in pseudocode, we mentioned that is no area is equal to length into width killer. But if you take what you call Pascal, you can't just mention the equal symbol. So we call this as an assignment operator. This equal symbol normally we call as assignment operator. Assignment operator. It's the operator used to give a value to something. So if you want to give a value for the variable called area, you have to mention it like this. Area colon equals length into width. So in Pascal, the assignment operator is mentioned as colon equal, not just equal. So here they mention only the equal symbol, no. So therefore, number three is representing the colon symbol. Okay. And number four, the end of the Pascal program. Okay, so four is representing end. These are the values for one, two, three, and four. Anyone have any questions? So the pseudocode, why can't we use for loop? Why do you want to use for loop? You can even do the same thing in repeat until loop. But if you are doing a repeat and loop, you have to modify the program according to that. The given flowchart is corresponding to while loop. You can even do this in repeat and loop, but if you're doing it, you have to change certain things. You can't do it exactly how is it. Can we kill the truth in answer? We can, but not needed. Anyone having any questions here? The pseudocode you missed the equal. Where? In a condition there. Yes, correct. While count less than or equal to. Okay, that. Each loop is easier. Depends on the question. At least can we have 5 minutes break? Display is fine. Yes, synonyms are fine. Can you explain the pseudocode part of the while portion? But it's I not done. I did not do the question here. I mean, I just converted that. Just directly, whatever is there, wrote it here. So whatever is there in between is yes. In this portion, after the yes, whatever is there, I wrote it exactly that. I do a programming session. I'll do a programming seminar, inshallah. I think I had to do a full-fledged programming from the scratch for. So input next number as num. I wrote here as input num because the idea of that is input a value for num. So I directly wrote input num. Then I have a decision box here. So first of all, I have to check is this decision box selection or repetition. I told you how to check selection or repetition, right? If two people are going in two different directions, if they can meet at a common point, selection. They can't meet, repetition. So here, this fellow and this fellow, they can meet at this place. So I wrote if. And then if the condition is true, yes, the only instruction I have to follow is what? Least equals num. Apart from that, are there anything else? No. You might be wondering, what about I equals I plus 1? I equals I plus 1, we follow for both the people. If it is yes also, it's going to come there, no also, it's going to come there. So if yes and no both are going to come there, that's going to be the after end if. Like for example, in this scenario also, you can see at D they're going to meet, right? See the fellow who is going in yes and no, they're going to meet at D. So what's going to happen is that if condition will be finishing with D before this place. From here the end if will come. Make sense? I'll do later. Then no need of writing semicolons for pseudocode, right? No need. Can you briefly explain how did you draw the how you did the flowchart? I read the instruction, the flowchart, and I drew this table. So we call this table as a dry run. I actually ignored one column in the dry run. Normally that was has to include. But in a dry run, the main person to include is the variables. In the program, go to the program and see what are the variable names you have. And for every variable you have, include a column. Okay. So when a value is given for a variable, write the variable's name and below that name, mention the value. When the value gets changed, cut that old value and write the new value. When the value gets changed, cut the old value and write the new value. So that's how I followed the instruction here and recorded the value here. So whenever value got changed, I mention it here. So normally have one column each for every variable and include one column for the output. So in this program, the output was there in this statement. So output can be, there could be output instruction saying output something or display something, show something. They can use any other synonyms like that. Mostly first four or first three. For any programming question, you can do the dry run. Yes. What to do with that? That's irrelevant, Nathan. Okay. Before I start the third question, do you all really want a break? I'm going to do the third question now and then I'll go for the first question. And fun fact, until the paper finishes, I'll be going. So sometimes it might go until 12 o'clock also. If you all want, you all can stay. But anyways, do you all want a break before I do the third question? I don't need a break. I'm doing class from 5 p.m. at a stretch from 5 p.m. You ask me, do I want? No, I don't want. But do you want is a question. Good job. Will you provide a recording? For the how many months have you been my student? How many seminars I have done? How many classes I have done? Based on experience of coming from my class, based on experience of coming. Use your practical common sense and tell me, is there one class where I have recorded and not shared the recording? Again, asking for them sharing the recording. Up to date, how many recordings have? All my recordings are there on YouTube and all the seminars I have done up to date. The hundredth time, again, repeating, now I share the recording, I share the recording. I have answered that question 1,000 times already. Okay, I'll give you all a 5 minutes break. Quickly come. What's the time now, man? 10:21. I'll give you all a time of 5 minutes. So I'm on a time of 5 minutes. I'll be there here only. You can ask any questions. I'll answer the questions. In 5 minutes, we'll be starting, huh? With that question. I'm checking your chats technically. Where is the second question? I would have purposely removed it, I guess. So break is for me. Okay, 5 minutes given. Can you explain relationships? Okay, I'll explain that in this break. Listen. So technically, in a table, there's something called database relationships, right? I think, yeah. Let me explain that now. Nothing else. Ask my chat. You just want to finish this once and for all, right? What's your tip for being productive? I don't know. Let me start that. Is there any other doubt before that? Done? Who's it once done? Let me know. I mean, I know. I can feel your emotions. Yeah, there's a 5 minutes break. Actually, 3 minutes and 13 seconds remaining, but I'll be teaching. I'll be clarifying the doubts. Okay. Okay, let me tell you about database relationships. Normally, if you take two tables, okay, in database relationships, what we mean is how many records, record means like rows in a table are called records. Huh? How many records of one table can be connected to how many records of another table? Simply, that's what database relationships are. The number of records here can be connected to how many records there. Now, always if you want to connect two tables, the way you connect two tables are a primary key of a table will be normally connected to foreign key of another table. Oh, forget about this, forget about this. I'll tell you more easy. The easiest way is see if two tables have a common data. Okay, if two tables have a common data, that means there's a connection between those two tables. Now, if you look at the vehicle table and customer table, sorry, vehicle table and the vehicle underscore customer table, are there any fields that is common between them? Yes or no? First of all, tell me. Between the vehicle table and vehicle customer table, are there any fields that's common? Yes, correct. There is a field that's common. So when you're going to compare this, you're going to compare using that data only you're going to compare, right? Okay. So for example, there is a template you can create. Write here number one, write here a box, write here number one, and write here a box. So step number one, write the two tables names. Step number two, write one box, one box. Simple. Now what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself one record in the vehicle table. Okay, one specific record in the vehicle table. This can be connected to a maximum of how many records in the vehicle underscore customer table. Now, don't depend on the given data only. Practically think one record in the vehicle table. That means the first vehicle, for example, Aqua, the vehicle one V100. Okay, one vehicle in this vehicle table can be connected to how many records in the customer table in a practical scenario. Don't depend on the given scenario. Just practically think maximum only one record can be there, or maximum there could be many records. How many records can be there maximum in the vehicle customer table? One or many? There could be many. Like for example, today I go and take Aqua, my name will be there. Let's say after 3 days, another customer went and took that Aqua, then that bugger's name will be there in the customer table. So there could be many records. Fine. So you write many there. Now let's take this record, the last record of the, or let's say one before the last record of the vehicle table. The one before the last record in the vehicle customer table. So this record, the vehicle underscore customer, one before the last record. I'll start the other question while I wait. The one record in the vehicle underscore customer. That one record can be connected to how many vehicles in the vehicle table, maximum. This record, which I'm going to highlight in red color. This can be connected to maximum of how many records in the vehicle table. One record or many records? Exactly. Only one record, right? What is a record? What is a vehicle you can connect the red color for? Which I highlighted here in red color. You can collect this. You can connect this red color to which vehicle? Exactly. Only Wagoner, right? Apart from Wagoner, you can't connect to any other vehicles, right? Because there they talk about V104. So 104 is representing Wagoner. So one record here can be connected to only one record here. One record in the vehicle underscore customer can be connected one. Once you have filled both the boxes, just write them below. So the relationship between these tables is a one-to-many relationship. Whatever is in the box, right there. If both the boxes have M and M, it's many-to-many relationship. If both the boxes have one-to-one, it's one-to-one relationship. Got it? Tell me, did you understand the one-to-many part here? I'll explain the many-to-many as well, but before I go for many-to-many, did you understand the one-to-many part? Okay. Now let's look at the vehicle table and customer table. Look at the vehicle table and customer table and tell me, are there any fields that is common between these two tables? Look at the vehicle table and customer table and tell me, are there anything common in these two tables? Yes or no? No. There is no any connections. Nothing is common. Vehicle table and customer table, there is no any fields common to them. Okay. The vehicle table has VID, title available. Customer table has customer ID, name, telephone number, address. There is no any connection between those two tables. Even though there is no connection between those two tables, is there any other tables that has certain data about vehicles and certain data about customer? Is there one table that has both these people's data? Is there like a specific table that has some parts of vehicle and some parts of a customer? Is there like that a third table? Is there something that? Yes, it's the vehicle underscore customer table. So technically, vehicle and customer table, they have a connection between them. And they don't have a direct connection. They have indirect connection through whom? Vehicle underscore customer table. Vehicle underscore customer table. Between these two tables, they have a connection. So always when a table don't have a direct connection, just mention what is the third table helping to connect both of them. Okay. Now again, draw the same template. One box, one box. Now you can see vehicle customer, they don't have direct connection. So we're going to use this part to form the connection. Okay? If you take one record in the vehicle table, one record in the vehicle table can be connected to how many records in the vehicle underscore customer table. One record in the vehicle table. One vehicle can be connected to how many vehicles in the customer vehicle underscore customer table? One or many? Many. So I write many here. Okay. So this is talking about that. Now look at this fellow. The customer table and vehicle underscore customer. One customer can have how many records in the vehicle underscore customer table? Only one record in the vehicle underscore customer table, or can he have many records in the vehicle underscore customer table? Exactly. He can have many records in many customer underscore many vehicle underscore customer table, right? Today he can have one vehicle. After 2 3 days, he can go and borrow another vehicle. So he can have many records in the vehicle underscore customer table. So now what does both the box have? Both the box have M&M. So this is a many-to-many relationship. Always to create a many-to-many relationship, you definitely need a third table. So technically, between two tables, if you want to show the relationship, to show this, if you need a third table, then definitely it's going to be a many-to-many relationship. Got it? There's nothing called many-to-one. It's one-to-many. One-to-one is just like that. So for example, imagine two tables. One table has student details and one table has NIC numbers. So let's say this table has your name, student ID, and student's name. Let's say this table has student ID and NIC number. Now, practically think in this kind of a situation, one student, okay, if you take one record here, one student can have how many NIC numbers? One or many? So there's one table to have students' details, other table to have NIC numbers, national identity card numbers, right? So if I take one record in student table, it can be connected to maximum of how many records in NIC table? One or many? One student can have how many NIC numbers? You all know what is NIC card, right? Identity card. Exactly. One student can have only one NIC number. So I write one here. If I take one specific record in the NIC card table, okay, there'll be the student ID and student name. So this NIC card can be connected to how many students? Only one student, or can it be connected to many students? Only one student. So a situation like this, it's a one-to-one relationship. It's very rare you get a one-to-one relationship table. Anyways, clear? Okay, let's start this question. Consider the following paragraph with the blank list A to D. Identify the most suitable term for the blanks given from given below. Okay, let's do it. Dash is a global system of interconnected computer networks. Okay, if you have a collection of computers connected around the world, how do you call that as? A collection of computers around the world. But it's an example for a network. What is a network? Okay, all these computers are connected around the world. Correct. That's internet. So internet is a connection of all the devices around the world. Then dash controls how data is transmitted over the internet. So when you're transferring data from one place to another place, what do you call when the data has been transferred over one place to another place, it has to follow certain guidelines. Okay. The guidelines it has to follow is always mentioned under something called what? Like rules that has to be followed. We're not doing certain actions in the internet. For example, requesting for a website, there are certain rules. We're not transferring the email when the data of the email data is transferring from one server to another server, there's a rule you have to follow. When there's errors coming from the server to your browser, from the server to your computer, if there's an error code coming, that has to follow one guidelines. The guidelines that has to be followed, or the rules that has to be followed, correct. That's protocol. So protocol, internet. And then dash is used to uniquely identify a device or the resource on the internet. Every device connected to the internet has something unique to it. What is it? Perfect. IP address is something that's unique for every computer. Tell me what is now. If you take every computer or every device can be uniquely identified using IP address. No. Every resource on the internet. What I mean by resources, for example, let's say there's an image stored in the internet. There's a photo stored in the internet. Each and every resource stored on the internet or each and every page stored on the internet can be identified uniquely using something. What? Correct. Every resource on the internet can be uniquely identified using a URL. Tell me every website, not web page, huh? Web page is URL. Every website can be identified uniquely using what? On the internet, there can be several websites, right? Each and every websites can be uniquely identified using a domain name. So, for example, the domain name used to identify my website is going to be, let's say, Master ID or Master Online. The domain name used to identify YouTube is youtube.com. The domain name used to identify Google's website is google.com. So, every website has a unique way to identify the website. It can be identified using a domain name. Keep this in mind. Now. Next, their software facilitates accessing and navigating the World Wide Web. If you want to access the World Wide Web, if you want to access any websites, what is the application you're going to use? Perfect. The application or the software used to access the World Wide Web, that's called the web browser. So these are the answers here. If you have any questions, drop your questions in the chat. Next. Below are some steps to follow. Then what's web server? Web server is a place to store websites or website related files. To store website or website related files, use a website. Okay. Below are some steps used to follow to visit a website with unknown web address, but they are not in the correct order. Arranged in the correct order using the labels. Okay. Type the hint of the website in the cage provided for the click the search button, open the search engine, click on the most relevant link among the links displayed on the screen, open the browser. Okay. To access the website, which you don't know the URL, first of all, you open the browser. So these are first step. After you open the browser, you have to first of all go and open the search engine, which means you open google.com. After you open the search engine, like if you go to google.com, on Google, you have to go and type the hint. What I mean by hint is, what do you call? Give me a moment, guys. Sorry. What do you call then what is hyperlinks? Hyperlinks is like the links you have in a page. You go to Google, you have all these links. You can what do you call the what time is the class over? 11, 11:30, 12. Until the paper finishes, I'll be going with wait. The target is 11, 11, 15. 11 o'clock is my target. Let's see. Yeah. So after you what do you call type the hint? Type the hint means this is what they're talking about. Huh? When you go to google.com, after you go to google.com, in this here type the hint. Like for example, I go and type a master IT. Okay. So after you type the hint, next step is what? Type the hint and then click on the search button. So click on this search, enter technically. So after it, these are all links. These are called hyperlinks. You can see when I go and click on this, if I go and click on any of this, it will take me to another page, right? So if I click on this, if it takes me to another page, that's called hyperlink. So they are saying out of this, what do you call, click on the most relevant link among the links displayed. So out of all the links, I'll go and click on the respective link I want. So let's say I want the classes page, I go and click on classes. So I'll be taken to the classes page. Simple. So that's the last step. So these are the steps to access the website. Any questions, anyone? Maybe shall. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 2, 4, 1 actually. Next, match the appropriate item in the column A with the items in column B. Okay, tell me out of A, B, C, and D, which one looks like a domain name? You can answer doubts in the. You can put your answer in the main chat. Huh? What is web server? Just no explain a minute. Yes, out of the given answers, the answer which represents a domain name is actually the last one. Out of the given answers, A, B, C, which one represents a URL? Correct. C represents URL. Which one represents a domain name? So IP address. Correct. A represents IP address. And the B represents the email address, right? In the domain name, you can see the whole thing you can call as domain name. But in this domain name, the LK part, what is the special name we give for the LK part? The special name you can use to call this LK. How do you call that as? Perfect. You can call it as a top level domain. And then in this URL, you have the part called edupub, right? How do you call this edupub as? The special name for that part called edupub. How do you call edupub as? No, correct. That's called as subdomain. So keep in mind a full domain name. You have two dots. If you have two dots, the last dot is the LK dot is representing the top level domain, TLD. And before that, whatever word you have here, it's called subdomain. Okay. And next, what do you call this notation of writing IP address as? If you have four numbers, each number is represented separate using a dot. What do you call this notation as? Correct. That's called a dotted decimal notation. Dotted decimal notation. Then B. And also, next one, because these can come from MCQs. Huh? That's why I'm giving you this now. If you look at this IP address, we have these four numbers, right? It's 168, 192, 50. These numbers can vary between how much to how much. What is the values each of these numbers can vary between? Perfect. These values can vary between 0 to 200. Keep that in your mind. Now. Next, emails are categorized inside an email account for easy use. Select the task from column 2 that matches the email type mentioned in column 1 of the table below. Write down the relevant label of the task against number. Okay, so there are in emails, you have these folders or sections to actually make our work easy when you're, what do you call, using them. Let's figure out what is this one. Out of the given answers, tell me, you can use 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, tell me out of 1, 2, 3, 4. But is used to store emails for a certain period that are deleted. After delete an email, normally for 30 days, it will be storing in one place. Where is it stored? Is a 0 and 255 included? Yes, they are included. Yes, it's been stored in trash. So P is be connected with trash. And then to store the emails that are composed to be sent. Composed means typed. Okay, typed to be sent but could not be computed. That means you have typed the email, but still you have not sent it. Then where is it stored? Perfect. The emails that are typed and not sent, they are stored in draft. So number 4 is going to be connected to Q. The emails that are received, the emails you get, where do you store the emails you get? All the emails you receive? Correct. That's there in the inbox. So one is going to be connected to R. And to store the emails that are unwanted, the unwanted emails, the useless, the false, fake emails, all yes, that goes in spam. So S is going to be connected to 3. So this is how PQRS is connected. If you have any questions, drop in the chat now. Answer following questions according to the part of the email sending interface section below. So there is a to section, CC section, and BC section. They're saying which email address receives copies of the original email. Okay. Normally, if you take copies of the emails, first of all, look at this email and tell me who is the main receiver here? Who is they're sending the email from the mainly it's targeting to whom? Exactly. Out of two CC and BCC, the main person we're targeting is going to be the two people. The main target user, that is Sasikala. And then who are going to get the copies of the email? It is not only CC, BCC and CC both are copy. Carbon copy, blind carbon copy. CC stands for carbon copy. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. So both of them are going to get copies of the email. This is the main person who's going to get the email, and CC and BCC are going to get the copies of the email. Okay. The difference between them is everyone will know that Dasun has got a copy, but Monali got a copy is actually hidden. So the hidden copy we always mention in the BCC. So no one will know that Monali has got a copy, right? So the question is asking who is getting a copy of the email now, right? So which email address receives copies of the original email? So copy of the original email will be given as a for bpdasun at yahoo.com. Apart from Dasun, for Monali also a copy will be sent. Correct? Both of them will be getting a copy. Next, they're asking which email address cannot see all the recipients. Who can't see all the recipients? Wrong. Who can't see all the recipients? Yes. Both of them can't see all the recipients. In this scenario, both of them can't see all the recipients. Right? Sasikala will not know Monali got. Dasun also will not know Monali got. But Monali will know everyone who got the email. Okay. So Sasikala also will not know all the recipients. Because I told, right, the BCC is hidden. Sasikala will not know that the BCC people. Dasun will also not know the BCC people. So both of them are going to be cannot see all the recipients. Recipients, the readers, receivers. Huh? I thought Sasikala was the sender. No, Sasikala is the main receiver, and the Dasun and Monali is going to get copies of the emails. Imposter is BCC. Kind of imposter, yes. Any other questions you want to have here? Why does she get to know everyone got it? That's how BCC. BCC will know everyone who got it. And BCC will not know other BCC. Yeah? Now, for example, if there are two BCCs, then she will not know the other BCC. Yeah? Is the paper over? Actually, no. We have the first question. I did not plan to do the first question. Anyways, I did not have planned to do the first question. But if you all have a specific question, the first question which you want to discuss, I can discuss that because I said 11 o'clock we're finishing. We have 12 more minutes. What do you want to do in the 12 minutes we have? Which question do you want out of the first question? I think in 12 minutes we can discuss around 3 or 2 questions in the first question, depending on the question. I can do the full paper itself. Full paper කරන්න මට විනාඩි 11:30 වත් යයි. 4 and 5. Okay. 10. Actually, all have to be happy, man. I'm finished the class at 11:30. Your previous batch, I used to drag until 12 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Seriously. Tips for the exam. Study and go. Simple. Don't worry, just go to the tunes. Okay, because you all were there until the last moment, I'll give you all a very bonus. I'll give you all a bonus because you all were there until last moment. I'm going to share a link in the chat. This link has, okay, all my notes, all subject notes. And the extra bonus is there's something called tutelinks.txt. If you click on this if you click on this document, from the first lesson of grade 10 to all the lessons of grade 11, all the filled versions of all my tutes are there. You can get it completely for free. Do whatever you want. Print it, take copies, I don't care. Share it with your friends, no problem. Do whatever you want with it, I don't mind. All my tutes are there here. My theory class tutes, filled versions. So you can have fun. This is all my subject. These are my notes, notes made by me. I think some are literature, something might have other people notes, some of my friends' notes as well. But majority are my notes. Enjoy. Okay. Some of you already have the notes, yes. Anyways, live till never. I'm trying marking it. Okay, let's do the question. Can you send this in WhatsApp? Drop a WhatsApp message to. I'll shorten the URL. Okay, I'll shorten this big URL and give it to you. Or I'll keep it in the Master ID website. That's easy. So if you go to the Master ID website, I'll quickly add it to the Master ID website. Like if you go for the Master ID website, the website is dead. But in the Master ID website, you have a section called resources. Just give me 1 minute, I'll add it to the resources section. Huh? Quickly add it to the resources, then you can easily get it. Because if you're going to get it through WhatsApp from me, bugging WhatsApp reply Ganneke is very difficult for me. I mean, today, within before tomorrow, if you want to expect a message from me, it's difficult. Let me add it to the master website quickly. Enjoy. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, Nick, it is. Let me quickly add it to the website, Master IT. This is Master IT. Resources. This is a DBMS. If you are wondering what is a DBMS, this is a DBMS technically. And this is a form. This is an ugly form, but this is a form. Okay, so I'm going to give the name for this. I'll put short notes, all subject short notes. Link. Go. Oh, I missed the data. That's one name. This should be name, all subject short notes, and link and one. Go. Boom. Okay, if you go for the Master ID website, you go for the resource. Master ID, I don't go for Master Online name, Master ID. This website is dead. Don't go and register. I think I have blocked the registration. If you already have an old account, you can log in. But registration, you don't need to log in even. If you just come for the Master ID website, you can see this. Go to masterid.lk. In masterid.lk, just go for the resources page. Simple. You go to master ID page, resources, and you have here all subject short notes. Click Karava. You will get it. Don't WhatsApp me. I will not reply WhatsApp messages with it today. I will reply in 2 3 days only. Okay, let's come back to the question. That's fine. That's fine. So out of these, let's start with the you all said third and fourth, right? Third question, fourth question. Do you want the third question? Okay, let's do the third question. Easy. It's just a matching question. Match the activities in column A with the relevant phase in the SDLC in column B. Okay. So when you take SDLC, software development lifecycle, to develop a software, there are 6 steps. Step number 1, we call it as identifying requirements. Step number 2, designing the solution. Step number 3, coding the solution. Step number 4, testing the solution. Step number 5, deploying the solution. Step number 6, maintenance of the solution. These are 6 steps or 6 phases of developing a software. Okay. So, oh yeah, sorry. That was event and so the spelling mistake. No. Okay, then updated. Anyways, what do you called? Out of these, they are asking to match the relevant task. Okay. Debugging means resolving an error that was identified in your testing. Now, what did you all see? I went and changed that, right? It was no one person came and told in the chat, sir, for notes, you have put K notes here. So then C double N has put. That was the error. Okay. So that was the error that was identified by one of the students. I went and corrected that error. The process of correcting an error, we call it debugging. So front of your, I was doing a debugging now. Simple. Anyways, out of the given answers, gathering information about the current system by observing the documents. Okay. So normally, if you want to create a solution, if you want to create some what you call something to solve a problem, first of all, you should know what the problem is. Okay. When you know what the problem only, you can solve the problem properly. So the process of figuring out what the problem is, we call this identifying the problem. No? To identify a problem, there are multiple methods. To identify a problem requirement, there are multiple methods. One is observation. One is interviewing. One is using questionnaires like question papers or Google Forms. One is using something called as sample documents, collecting sample documents. Another method is prototyping. So you can use any of these methods and figure it out. So here they're asking about gathering information about the current system. That comes under what? A, B, C, or D. If you're going to observe certain documents and from that, if you're going to identify requirements, that comes under what? A, B, C, or D. You can mention the main set your answer. Correct. That comes under D. Correct. That comes under D. Next, the making minor changes to information system to suit user requirements. Okay. Now, once you what you call develop a software, so after you find the requirements, after you figure out the requirements, what you might do is you might start designing, like how the application is going to look like. You might go and design it. After you have designed, how do you know? How do you know how the application is going to look like? You might start coding it. That is like writing codes, and you will start making it. Okay. After you make it, like let me connect this to let's say a kitchen example. Okay. Imagine, for example, you are supposed to cook lunch today. If you are given the task to cook lunch, first of all, you should know the requirements. How many people are going to come for lunch? Okay. Then what do you call out of how many people are older, how many people are younger? Because for elder people, there might be different. How many people are sugar patients? Because if it's sugar patients, you can't give certain foods. How many people are allergic for certain stuff? Still, you might identify who are coming for the lunch. After you know how many people are coming, their problems and all those stuff, now you are doing the designing. Design is also known as planning. Now you might plan, okay, there are three people coming, there are five people coming for lunch. So, and let's say one person is it's a vegetarian person. So because they are vegetarian people, we can't make meat. Let's make what do you call the food without meat killer. In the planning stage, you're going to figure out what you're going to make. You're just going to figure what are you going to make. You're planning. The coding phase is where you cook it. This is where you're going to make it. So after you make, sometimes there could be something where you put less salt or no salt, or sometimes more salt. So that is where you do testing. So in testing, you go and see is your food proper. Then when you test and see, sometimes there could be problems. There could be less salt, more salt. So if it's less salt, you go and add more salt. So the process of correcting a mistake, we call it as debugging. Testing and debugging. So debugging is resolving that problem. Now, after everything is perfect, now you deploy. Deploy means publish it. That is, from the kitchen, you might take the food and go and keep in the dining table. So after it's in the dining table, everyone can come and eat it. And maintenance is where our podi changes. Now, after you keep in the dining table, your uncle might come and tell, or your grandfather might come in. We're gonna put the coriander leaves them with nasanati. Let's put some what do you call pepper on top of this. Let's put some salt on top of this. Or putty changes. Others might come and tell you. That is what you might do in maintenance stage. Okay. So similarly, look at here that making small changes to system to suit the new user's requirement are small changes. Like after you keep the boiled egg in the table, they go and be like, let's add a bit of salt, let's add a bit of pepper. That small changes that comes at a mid stage. A, C, or D. Coding is the process of making the application. It's like cooking a food. Yes, that's going to be C. The totally terminating the existing system and installing a new system. So that means, for example, you have already have a system. You're going to stop using the old system and take the new system, which means the dining table already there, the breakfast is there. You're going to take away all what was there in the breakfast served, and you're going to go and keep the lunch. You're going to basically publish it. So the process of publishing it that comes under what? A or D? Correct. That comes under D. Then identification of software and software architecture. Okay, in designing phase, apart from how an application looks like how application looks like, we call this UI designing. Apart from UI designing, there's something called database design we do as well. That is, how should the database of this application be? How many tables the application should have? What are the fields the tables should have? And what do you call? What are the data types of those fields? Like how the whole database of the application is going to be also decide. Apart from that, to create the application, what are the softwares you need? Now, to create an application, you need certain softwares, or else, on the other hand side, you need some programming languages. So what are the programming language you're going to use to create the application? Those are things which you decide in the designing stage. Okay. Now, for example, or what are the tools you need to create the application? Those all are done in the designing stage. So match them correctly. This is how it's going to work. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Roman number 4. If blah 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 is represented as J in ASCII, what is the bit pattern for the F? Okay. So in these kind of questions, what you should do is, first of all, keep in mind, there is a coding system called ASCII. In ASCII, for every letter, for every symbol, there is a number sign, a decimal number. And that's always in the correct order. Like, for example, if A is given 65, then B is going to be given 66. So decimal number is in order. So they have given the value of J and they're asking the value of F. So you can see F is basically the letter before J. So if you found out what is the value of J, you can easily figure out the value of F now. J is represented using this. So let's figure out first of all, what is decimal value of that. Step number 1, convert that binary number in decimal. 1001010. When you convert this number decimal, 1001010. When you convert this decimal, that is, you have to multiply each digit by its place value. I told you any number system decimal, you multiply each digit by its place value. So 1 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, 4 times 0 is 0, 8 times 1 is 8, 16 times 0 is 0, 32 times 0 is 0, 64 times 1 is 64. Multiply each digit by its place value and add these numbers together. That's going to give you 6474. So technically, the value of J is equal to 74 in decimal. So F is a letter before J, no? So F will be equal to 73. 73 in decimal. So you find ASCII or convert this to binary. 73 divided by 2 is 35. 36, 1 remains, divide by 2, 18, 0 remains, divide by 2, 9, 0 remains, divide by 2, 4, 1 remains, divide by 2, 0 remains, divide by 2, 0 remains, 1 remains. So after you divide, you can write the answer now. 73 is equal to 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something is wrong. 1,000,000, 1,001, 1,000, not 000. Because there should be only 7 digits. 1,001, 001. From bottom to top, you write the numbers. 2 divided by 9 is 1. 2 divided by 2 times 4 is 8. 1 remains. Yeah, correct. How come J is after F? J is before F, man. F G A B C D E F G E F G A F G H I A B C D E F G E I. That is G. No, sorry. Mind, I have taken G and J. My bad. Doom doom. It's E F G H I J K. F G H I J. So if this is 74, my bad. I'm wrong. I just took the F G J. Or Faizan Jifri ke liye FJ ka awa. I thought, okay. Seriously, that's what came to my mouth. Faizan's name only came actually in that question. Faizan Jifri. J. Anyways, what do you call if J is 74, I is 73, H is 72, G is 71, F is 70. You all know the normal method you should do is after you find that F is equal to 70. Okay, because my A is 65, B is 60, let A J is 74, I is 75, sorry, 73, 72, 71, and 70. So once you know F is 70, the correct method is you have to convert from decimal to what you called from decimal to binary. I'll show the shortcut. Just write the place values from 1 to 64. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 which place value. Circle the numbers that has to be added together to form the number 70. 64 plus 8 is 72. 64 plus 4 is 68. 69, 70. 64 plus 4 is 68. 68 plus 2 is 70. No. So what I did here is I know that 70 is a decimal value equivalent for F. To find the binary value, I wrote the first 7 bits place value 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 30, 64. Circle the numbers I should add together to form the number 70. Below the number circle at 1, below the remaining numbers at 0. 70 is equal to 1 triple 0 double 1 0. Be a shortcut to do this question. Okay. This is not there or syllabus, but you can use this method, no problem. Anyways, any questions here? Okay, what's the next question you all wanted? I got 3 and 4 after 3 and 4. 5. Okay, I'll do 5. Can you divide and show if I get the same answer? Okay. 70 divided by 2 is 35. 0 remains. Divide by 2. 17, 34, 1 remains. Divide by 2. 16, 1 remains. Divide by 2. 4, 8, 1, 0 remains. Divide by 2. 2 times 2, 0 remains. 2 times 1 is 2, 0 remains. 2 times 0 is 0, 1 remains. 1, triple 0, double 1, 0. See? Okay, I'll do it. Wait. So fifth question first, and then I'll go for 9 and 10. Fifth question is talking about write the Boolean expression for F. So Boolean expression I told you, for every gate you write the output. When A goes through this looks like a NAND gate. There's a small circle in front. So when A and B go through the NAND gate, it's going to be A dot B whole thing dash. Because NAND gate, in between the inputs we put dot. Above the input we put the dash. When B goes through this NOT gate, B becomes B dash. When C comes through this AND gate, it's going to be B dash dot C. 11, 8. I know it. This is called the NOR gate. From top, we have A dot B whole thing dash. Because we have multiple these ones, we put the brackets. From the bottom, we have B dash dot C. Because we have multiple letters, we put the brackets. So keep in mind, if the input has only one letter, you can write the input as this. But here for the B dash dot C, the input from top is B dash. The input from the bottom is C. So I wrote it as it is, and in between I wrote the symbol. But if the input has more than one symbol, if you can see that for the NOR gate we have here, the input from the top is A dot B whole thing dash. So because A dot B whole thing dash has two letters, A and B two letters, there put a brackets. The input from the bottom is what? B dash dot C. B and C are two different letters. So because we have two letters, I used a brackets for that. NOR gate, in between the inputs, we put a plus. Around the whole input, we put a dash. So F is equal to A dot B dash plus B dash dot C. This is the value of is that clear of the truth table? For every output, you can have one column and you can draw it. How many marks per question? 2 marks per every question. The truth table is going to be something like this. So for column A, one column, B is another column, C is another column. So let's show a method without drawing each column how to directly write the answer. Directly, I'll show you. Because I showed you the truth table in the that's for grade 10, I think. Anyways, first of all, you have to figure out then after you draw the truth. That's for grade 10. So I didn't show you all this. Correctly, for every output, you have one column. So I'll go in the normal method itself. Because the method I'm going to show now is easy if you know the usual method. So therefore, I'll go to the normal method itself. Samra, the answer you're asking is there, right? For me to properly explain that, I need 2 hours. I have one recording, explain that for 2 hours. If you really want it, drop me WhatsApp message. I'll give you 2 hours recording that one topic to ask you. In depth. Okay. So what do you call for every input there's going to be one column? So ABC is one column. For every input, one column. And for every gate's output, you have to mention one column. So for the not gate we have here, I'm going to write one column. That's B dash. And the NAND gate we have, I'm going to have one column. A dot B whole thing dash. And then for the AND gate here, I'm going to have one column. B dash plus dot C. And then the final gate we have is what? A dot B whole thing dash. Plus B dash dot C whole thing dash. So for every gate's output, there's going to be one column. Now you start filling it. Okay. First of all, after you know what I've done is for every input, I have include one column. And for every gate's output, I have included another column. Always you go from left to right. Left to right, go and include the columns. After you have the column names, now you start filling it. So when you're filling it, you have to go for the right side corner input. Out of A, B, and C, the right side corner input is C. Just first honor it. Before that, you know the number of rows. Number of rows is in a truth table, number of rows is equal to 2 to the power of number of inputs. So if you look at this circuit, we have three inputs now. A is one input, B is another input, C is another input. So if there are three inputs, there are 2 to the power 3 rows, which means there are 8 rows in this table. One input, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not bad. I have drawn correctly 8 rows, the columns. You start the right side corner input and fill in the pattern of 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Next input, double it. So here we are using 1, here 2. 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 2 ones. Next column, double it. That's going to be 4 zeros and 4 ones. Okay, so if there's another one more column, 8 zeros, 8 ones. This double, double, double and go 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 0, 2 ones. Next one, 4 zeros, 4 ones, 4 0, 4 ones. If there was another one more column, 8 0, 8 1. That's how the pattern is going to go. Now, when you say B dash means the opposite of B column. So if B is going to have 1, this is going to 0, is going to be 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. The exact opposite of B is there in B dash. Then A dot B whole thing dash. When you say A dot B whole thing dash, we're going to take the value of A. Okay. And we're going to take the value of B. I can't erase it. Yeah. So we're going to take the value of A column, we're going to take the value of B column, and we're going to compare those two values using dot and whole thing dash, which means the NAND gates idea. How does NAND gate works? NAND gate works in the idea of opposite of AND gate. So AND gate goes and checks, are all the inputs one? Okay, so NAND gate is going to take the opposite of that. So when you compare A and B, and if you go and first of all check in AND gate goes and checks, are all the inputs one? Are A and B all inputs one? No. So no means zero. So if AND gate is going to give you zero, NAND gate is going to give you the opposite no, which means NAND gate is going to give you one. So I go and write here one. Same thing, if you go and check the second row, are all the inputs one? No. Opposite of no is yes. So you always go and check first of all for AND gate, and the opposite of AND gate you go and mention there, right? Here you go and check, are all the inputs one? No. Opposite of no is one. Are all the inputs one? AND gate is going to give you zero, NAND gate is going to give you one. Are all the inputs one? No. So NAND gate is going to give you one. Are all the inputs one? AND gate is going to give you zero. So NAND gate is going to give you one. Here are all the inputs one. Yes. So because all the inputs are one, AND gate is going to give you one. If AND gate is going to give you one, NAND gate is going to give you zero. Here are all the inputs one. Yes. So AND gate is going to give you one. NAND gate is going to give you zero. That is how you fill that column. Always when you get a NAND gate program, first think how it will be in AND gate and write the opposite for NAND gate. Is that column clear? If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Next, B dash dot C. In B dash dot C, you're going to compare the B dash column, that is this column, with the C column, that is this column. And between B dash and C, you can see the dot operator is used. Dot means the AND gate is being used. AND gate goes and checks, is all of our inputs one? When you compare the two blue colors here, are all one? No. Are all one? Yes. Are all one? No. Are all one? No. Are all one? No. Are all one? Yes. Are all one? No. Are all one? No. So that is how you fill that B dash dot C column. The next column you have is a NOR gate. Okay. We have the A dot B, A dash dot B, that is this column, and B dash dot C, that is this column. You're going to compare these two columns using the NOR gates logic, because NOR gate only has a plus and whole thing dash. NOR gate is basically equal to the opposite of the OR gate. OR gate goes and checks, is any of the inputs one? So first of all, you have to go and check, is any of the inputs one, and then write the opposite of that. If you go and check, is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? Yes. Opposite of yes is no. Is any of the inputs one? No. So opposite of no is yes. Is any of the inputs one? No. Opposite of no is yes. So you check the idea of OR gate and then write the opposite for NOR gate. So this is how the truth table of this is going to be. Anyone having any questions here? NAND gate. First of all, figure out how the AND gate works. You know how the AND gate works, right? AND gate goes and checks, are all the inputs one? So after you find out AND gate, just write the opposite of AND gate there. Because NAND gate represents the opposite of AND gate. Got it? So you have A dot B whole thing dash. Okay. You're going to take the value of A, value of B, and compare using the AND gate first. And then the opposite of that, right? Okay, next question. 9 and 10. Match the appropriate spreadsheet term to its spreadsheet using the relevant labels and numbers. So a calculation or operation performed on cell values often using operators like plus, minus, star, and division formula. The identifier of a cell based on its column letter and row number. So you can identify a cell using column name and row number. We call it a cell address. The grid intersection point where row and column meet. So a row and column meet, we call this as a cell. A subset of cells related to a rectangular block. Okay, a collection of subset of cells is a collection of cells. So a collection of cells, you can call it a cell range. Any questions regarding the ninth one, anyone? Hmm? What does OTA means? Which one? A, B, C, or D? Okay, I'll explain everything again. A calculation operation performed on cell values using operators like plus, minus, and division, which means, let's say we have multiple cells as multiple values like 52, 36, 96. Let's say I want to perform a calculation using these values. So for example, equals 96 times 36 plus 52. So when I'm performing a calculation using cell values, what do you call this whole thing as? I written here formula. I written formula. That's going to be a formula. That's why A was connected to formula. The second one they said the identifier of a cell based on its column letter and row number. Every cell can be identified using a column name and row etc. Now the cell, currently we are in a cell, right? The blue color you can see, we call this active cell, okay? So this cell is there in the row, the column E, row number 2. So you can identify this cell as E2 cell. The cell I am now at the moment is column H, row number 3. So you can call this H3 cell. If you take this one, it's column E, row number 9. So E9 cell. So every cell can be identified using column name and row number. So each cell can be identified as a column name and row number, and that name we call as cell address. So if a cell is there in the column A, row number 2, this one's address is going to be A2. That's why I match the say identifier of a cell to a cell address. Got it? If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Programming conversion. What do you mean programming conversions? And then a grid intersection point where row and column meet. So for example, this is a row. So this is a column. Be a row. When a row and column meets, you can see it's meeting at G9, right? So in a row and column meet, this is technically, this is where column G and row number 9 meets. So column G and row number 9 meets, it forms a cell. I'll count to the 10 next, wait. So that's going to be a cell. And a subset means a collection of cells. A collection of cells in a rectangular block, you can call as a cell range. So this is a cell range. This is a cell range. This is a cell range. Okay. Okay, the last question. Write the output of the following Pascal code. Interesting. Let's check. There's a program called myArray. It has an array containing 4 values. So there's an array called n. This array called n has values index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Okay, like these are called index or else position. These are called index, also known as position. So how I know it's from 0 to 4 is mentioned here. This is the range of index. And integer means all of them are going to store whole numbers. Apart from that, there's a variable called x. It seems x is an integer. X is going to store only one specific value. Fine. So I'll have a column called, I'll go to the programmer. The first one, they are saying n3 is equal to 5. That means in the array called n, index 3, the value is 5. Next, they are saying n0 is equal to n3 plus 2. n3 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. Up to here, I will clear what happened. Yes or no? Drop in the main chat. Up to here, I will clear what happened. Perfect. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? Don't come and ask me how did 7 come. Huh? If you have no doubt, now it's a ask. Then n2 is equal to n0 into 2. Tell me, what do you think the value of N2, the value that has to come here. What do you think the value of that is going to be? Which one, Anik? Yes, they are saying N2 is going to be equal to N0 into 2. N0 is 7. So 7 times 2 is 14. Perfect. Okay. 7. They are saying N0 is equal to N3 plus 2. N3 was how much? N3 had the value of 5. So 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. That's how N0 got 7. Got it? Next, N1 is equal to N0 into N2. Tell me what is the value of N0, N1 then? After you follow this instruction, what will be the value of N1? 0 into 2. That's 0 is this, 2 is this, 7 times 14. 7, 14, 21, 28. 7 times 1 is 7, 8, 9. 98. Then N4 is equal to N2 plus N1. N2 plus N1 is 98 plus 14. That's 108, 112. Yes, 112. Up to here, you're clear all of you. Okay. And you think I don't have time? Why are you playing the time then? Until the game is over, I'll go. I will not stop. Okay. For x is equal to 1 to 4, do. Fine. So here we have something called a for loop. There's something special about a for loop. What's special about for loop is the value of x. You can see there's a variable mentioned here. So that means they're saying the value of x is initially going to be 1, it seems. And what's going to happen in for loop is it'll consider the value of x to be 1 and it'll follow the instruction below. After it's done following the instruction, the value of x will automatically increase. Now, for example, the first time following the for loop, it will consider the value of x to be 1 and follow the instruction. So when you say write ln nx, the value of x is going to be replaced. The value called here the x is going to be replaced by its value. So currently the value of x is 1. No? So we are going to display the value of array n index 1. Array n index 1. What is the value we have? In this array called n, in index 1, what is the value we have? Now, write ln is used to output in Pascal. Write and write ln both are used to output. So we are going to output here in the array n index 1. That's how much? 98. In the array called n index 1, the value is 98. So 98 is going to get output. And I told you what's special about for loop is after you're done following the instruction, the variable mentions value automatically increased. So x will now become automatically 2. After it increases automatically, it's going to follow this instruction. That's write ln nx. So now it's going to output array call n index 2. So index 2 value is how much? 14. Okay, index 2 the value is 14. Give me a moment, guys. Okay, so what do you call? Index 2. So index 2 is going to be how much? 14. So 14 is going to get displayed. After I'm done executing that, again, I come and increase the value of x automatically. So now x is going to be 3. And after x is 3, I'm going to follow the instruction inside. So write ln array call n index 3. Index 3, what is the value we have? 5. So 5 is going to get displayed. After we display 5, again, we're going to automatically increase. Now x is going to be 4. So write ln n index 4. Index 4 is the value we have? 112. So 112. We stop at 4 because if you look at the for loop here, we have mentioned 4x is equal to 1 to 4 do. So it will follow the instruction inside. First time by considering x to be 1. Second time by x to be 2. Next to be x to be 3 and x to be 4. It stops with 4 because we have mentioned starting value of x as 1. Stopping value of x is 4. So from 1 to 4, 1 by 1, it will go and follow the instructions inside. So the outputs are going to be 98, 14, 5, 12. These are output of the program. Is that clear, all of you all? Drop me your questions regarding this now. Drop me your questions. What is the meaning of write and write ln? So if you say write, you just display only. If you say write ln, you display and go for the next line. So for example, if I say write hello, and if I say write world, the meaning of that is you're displaying hello and displaying world. Both of them will be in the same line. But if you say write ln hello and write ln world, okay. If you use write ln, I'll show a PDF. That's easy. I should again rewrite the whole thing. I did a programming seminar. I have a PDF of that. Okay, I'll put the PDF in the notes and keep, So if you look at right and right ln, the difference is going to be like this. Okay. If both are having right just means just to display only. Okay. Video idea of right is just display only. So when you say write hello and write world, just display hello and world both in the same line. Okay. When you say write ln hello and write ln world, you display hello, and after you display hello, you go for the next line and display world. Because write ln means display and go for the next line. So you display and go for the next line. Okay. When you say write hello and write ln world, we display hello and we display world. The reason this is both in the same line is because when you say write, we just display. So hello gets displayed. After you say write ln world, we are displaying world, and the next word only is going for the next line. So write and write in the word ln will affect only the next line. ln will decide where to go and show the next line. If ln is used, the next line will start from a new line. So for example, look at here, write ln hello. After displaying hello, we are saying next word to start from the new line. That is why word is started from the new line. But if you say write ln hello here, we are displaying hello and we are saying next word start from the new line. So word is going to repeat and display the new line. So write means just display only. Write ln means display, and next instruction go for the new line. Got it? What is the way of answering this question? Like, should we write in the paper? The paper should write it like this. Output is going to be 98, 14, 5, 112. Tell me in this question, without using write ln here, if they had used write, what do you think the output would be? No spaces. Without using write ln, if they had used write there, what is the output? Yes, how it will be? So for write ln, it's like this, right? So if it's right, how it would be? Yes, for write, it will be like this 98, 14, 5, 112, all together pasted. The how it will be for write. Got it? Okay. Any other questions anyone have? Any questions I want you ask? Writing fed up of the questions for the last 5.5 hours. These are all 2 marks per question. Yeah, you can skip, you can skip. Okay, so what do you call? We can stop from there. Those who have any questions, still you can stay and ask, others you can leave. Run for the day. Okay, Uzair. Hey, by the way, I don't understand the ITL part. It's something like this. The idea of write means display. Just display. The idea of write ln means display and next instruction start from new line. For next instruction, go to next line, go to new line. So for example, when you say write hello, we're saying display hello. When you say write world, we're saying display world. So hello is going to get displayed. After hello is displayed, world is going to get displayed. Write hello, write world. But when you say write ln hello, and write world, the meaning of this is display hello and next instruction go for the new line. So world is going to be displayed in the new line. Because write ln will tell after you display, the next instruction go and show it in the new line. Understood? How are you not tired? Magic. Is there another Yumna? Yeah, there is. Yes, Yumna. Perfect. My brainstorm is full. Good job. Can you send the full paper? Yeah, I'll be posting the full paper in the what do you call WhatsApp community. Okay. Yes, good luck for your exams. All the best. Enjoy. Any other questions anyone have? Now you all can ask any questions you want actually. If you'll ask in depth or second, we explain the whole thing. Number here 2178165. In MCQ's programming, how will they question us? Go check past papers. You're welcome. Again, because we had limited amount of time, certain questions I would have rushed. Sorry on that. But still, I tried as maximum to explain. I'm pretty sure majority of the people are scolding me for the amount of explanation I gave. But if I have questions, drop in the chat. You didn't send me the recording. I saw your message with purpose. I didn't send. I'll send later. You're welcome. 7 hours. Oh yeah, in a 15 minutes it'll be 7 hours. Nice. No, no, seriously. You just go to the past papers and see. Oh, you don't need past papers even. Just take the program in Tute and not program in Tute. The program booklet I gave. The first few questions are MCQs. The paper class, first few days, we discuss all programming MCQs only. We did the first few days of the paper class recording or the program booklet, the first few days, all MCQs. I don't know. Anyways, as there's no other questions related to IT, you're just asking random questions now. I'm going to wind up the meeting. Good luck for your exams. And yeah, enjoy. Eighth one. Okay, I'll explain the eighth one. Eighth one. Indicate whether the following statements are true or false with the statements below. Hacking, hey, this is a sixth lesson question. Hacking is an adverse effect of remote access facility. No, they're saying hacking is due to what do you call remote access, or it's a side effect of remote access? No, hacking is your with your permission. Your remote access without with your permission. Hacking is without your permission. Okay, so keep in mind, hacking means without your permission. What do you call accessing a device without permission? Remote access with your permission accessing a device. So if they're saying hacking is caused due to remote access, no, because remote access with your permission happening. So that's wrong. The internet is a service of the World Wide Web. Yes, correct. ICMP protocol is responsible for notifying and controlling messages when it occurs. Correct. The activity of retrieving information from the server companies to client companies called uploading. Wrong. So from server, or let's say from client to the server. From client to server when the data is going, we call this process uploading. From the server when you're getting the data, we call this process downloading. So from server to client, it's downloading. Any other questions, anyone? Yes, good. What is ICMP? It's a protocol, Internet Control Message Protocol. C part. So technically, in your using the internet, there are different types of protocols we have. Okay. So if you go, I give you a set of notes, right? And then you go and check the third lesson tute. And these tute links, go and check this third lesson tute, grade 11 L3. In this grade 11 L3, you will be able to see there's a section for protocols, and I explain the different protocols we have. Isn't it the other way around for the B question? The internet is a service on the World Wide Web. Sorry. It's the other way around. World Wide Web is a service on the internet. Yes, you're correct. Second one is wrong. World Wide Web is a service on the internet. Yes, thank you for correcting. The second one is wrong. Anyways, if you go for this tute, by the way, this is what you call as a mind map. I was still learning theology actually. The last year mind map. Anyways, if you go to this tute, go to this page number 3, you can see there are protocols, and I have mentioned the purpose of each protocol here. So ICMP protocol is used to handle errors on the internet. Don't worry, the paper is going to be easy. Anyways, any questions, Rama? Barakallah. I'll check it later on WhatsApp. Is it? Okay, so as there's no other questions, I'm going to wind up. Good night, sweet dreams, and good luck for exams tomorrow. Bye. I'll share the PDF in the WhatsApp channel. I mean, this PDF, field PDF. Okay, let me wind up this Zoom meeting.